What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got your Alexa and Google devices. Got the video stream also up and rolling on YouTube. Hit us up on our website, sportstalk1051.com. Also, you got the app, the Wisco Sports App. Download that and take it on the go. Multiple ways for you to be tuning in this morning. We got that Shoe Doctors bullpen line up and rolling, 715-830-1912 as well. So what do we have on our game plan this morning? We're going to dabble into a little bit of everything here. Bucks are back in action tonight as they're going to be taking on the Chicago Bulls, and kind of a waiting game maybe at this point in time to see whether Giannis is going to be on this team by the end of the week here. So the Bucks have another game tomorrow, so we can't really say will this be the last game that maybe the Bucks or Giannis is going to be on the sidelines and such. So we'll see if deadlines spur actions when it comes to this. But latest rumors and rumblings out there is that the Bucks have sent over some counter offers to teams who have submitted offers for one Giannis. We'll see if that's actually 100%. I guess we'll never really see if that is 100% true or not. But nonetheless, that's the latest rumors and rumblings out there surrounding the Greek Freak and such. So continue to send me your vibe check on this thing. How do you see? Do you feel like Giannis is going to be with the ball club by the end of the week? Do you feel like he's going to be gone by the end of the week? I know there was another report too, something that we kind of threw out there, speculated, however you want to phrase it. But would the Bucks sit him down for the rest of the season and such? And to no surprise, that's one of the reports out there, is that Giannis is not all about that. So that shouldn't surprise anybody at that point in time. So, but we'll keep you posted on the latest. Apparently, another big name that is out there on the trade market is one James Harden. Apparently, the Clippers and Harden are exploring a trade. Cavaliers are apparently a team that is expressing some interest with that move. So throw another big name out there as a possibility that could be traded by Thursday. So again, we'll update you on the latest rumors and rumblings surrounding the NBA trade deadline, which again is on Thursday. So a little football chat here, not a whole lot as we get set for the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. But yesterday, the Packers officially making it official with the Jonathan Gannon hire. So Packers making that signed, sealed, delivered. Also, sounds like Brian Gutekunst will finally hold his end of the season presser tomorrow on Wednesday. So again, I don't know how much we'll fully learn from that thing, but he's definitely got an interesting offseason to kind of take a look at here with Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins, contract extension possibility for like a Tucker Kraft or Jaden Reed. Heck, even maybe throw Christian Watson in there too. Maybe a little bit of a longer contract extension. Does he try to bring back any of his free agents like a Quay Walker? You throw in a Romeo Dobbs and such. So what do you think from a personnel standpoint? Okay, not the draft. Let's take the draft out of this. But from a personnel standpoint, what do you think is priority A for Brian Gutekunst this offseason? Players, looking straight at the players, and we'll take away the draft. Is it, figuring out a contract extension for a Jaden Reed and a Tucker Kraft? Is it trying to bring back a Quay Walker? Is it, moving on from Rashawn Gary and such? What would you say is some of the bigger priorities for one Brian Gutekunst in this offseason? And how crucial of an offseason is this, do you think, for Goody and the Packers? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, it is the most important offseason for Brian Gutekunst's career, or for the Packers, it is the most important offseason of all time, or 1, like, chillax, ain't that important, So let me know. Give me your picks, okay? Send those on over throughout the morning here. We're going to talk a little Brewers. We'll talk. I saw this piece up on MLB.com. 6 teams facing make or break seasons in 2026, and essentially it's a team for every division. The Brewers are not the team in the NL Central. Okay, they actually list, in their opinion, the Cincinnati Reds, which, I mean, when you look at it, it makes sense. You got a Reds team that made the postseason last year. Then they go and sign Suarez. You got Terry Francona, a lot of younger talents. Probably, essentially looking for a jump. You could definitely make the case for the Cubs at this point as well. But would you classify the Brewers as a make or break season, or just kind of like, I don't know if I'd say make or break season for the Brewers. I just think that's their mindset and how they operate and how they build their teams is we're going to be competitive or try to be competitive every single year. So, but that's not the biggest Brewers notes. If you're one to watch Brewers games and such, it's going to change up a little bit. It's not going to be on the FanDuel or whatever it is these days. It's now MLB is going to be producing it and such. So sounds like on the MLB app. You stream it up there unless you're in market, which I believe we are not considered in market. So if you were in market, it'd be on cable and satellite and such. So sign up for another streaming service for the Brewers, or you get them for free listening to the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. So, but hey, they continued their top 10 shredder rankings, and Contreras, who was the number 1 catcher last year, number 2. Which, no surprise, because Cal Raleigh was number 1. So, but Contreras still well-respected in those shredder rankings. So, we'll see if they put Sal Frelick at number 1 for top right fielders. I kid, kind of, sort of. Sal better be top 10. That's all I'm saying. What else do we have on the docket? We're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal. We'll talk all things Badgers, hoops, hockey, all that good stuff with RJ coming up in a couple of hours from now, about 8:20 this morning. And then after that, around 9 a.m., we're going to catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Been a hot minute for the Eau Claire Express. Or since we've chatted with the Eau Claire Express, I know tickets and such have just gone on sale and that, but some changes within the Eau Claire Express. So we're going to be chatting with owner Craig Toyson, and then their new general manager, Jake Horon, is going to be joining us as well. So getting sets for getting a little closer and closer to baseball season. So we'll chat some Eau Claire Express coming up at about 9 a.m. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So now's the time. What is grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Feel better about yourselves, right? Get it off your chest. Feel better about yourself. What is grinding your gears? Also, it is the Hy-Vee Gamechanger, okay? What play, what player, what moment in the last week or so, or pretty much anything at this point, was, in your opinion, the game-changing play? All right, hit me up with your picks. It probably would have to come from the basketball world or hockey worlds, since we didn't really have any football this past week. So, or, hey, whatever else you can think of. Maybe it was a roster move or a coaching move. I'll even allow that. All right, game-changing move by the Raiders, reportedly hiring Clint Kubiak. Something, I'm just throwing out an example like that. So send those on over as well. So we got a loaded up game plan this morning, as you can tell. So let's pitter-patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We'll talk some hoops with the Bucks. We'll talk some football with the Packers. We'll talk some baseball with the Brewers and of course, the Express and such. So let's jump right into it. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. If you're thinking about grabbing those new floors, getting those new floors in your man cave, your living room, your kitchen, bedroom, whatever the case may be, there's only one name that the Chippewa Valley knows and trusts, and that's Carpet City Flooring Center. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks and tile, Carpet City Flooring Center has flooring options designed for real homes and real life. Again, whether you're updating a single room or finishing a basement or remodeling the entire home, their experienced team helps you find the right flooring to match your style, your needs, and your budget. You'll get knowledgeable guidance, quality products, and professional installation all in one place. No confusing choices, no high-pressure sales, just honest advice and flooring that you'll feel good about for years to come. Visit Carpet City Flooring Center today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire, and you can see the difference for yourself. When it's time to change your floors, starts with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. And with it being tax season, maybe that's where you put that nice tax return to, updating the flooring in your space. All right, let's get things going here this morning. The latest surrounding one Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. The latest reports out there. Again, these are from pretty much the mothership from ESPN. But it says that the Bucks have submitted counteroffers to the teams who are aggressively seeking a deal for Giannis. And again, the teams that have been mentioned the most are the Heat, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, and the Knicks. They are apparently amongst the most active suitors for a potential deal before the deadline. According to the same reports, Milwaukee is seeking a young blue-chip talent and or surplus of draft picks in exchange for Giannis. So that's kind of the latest right now. Not a ton, not really anything too different from what we have seen in the, in the last 24, 48 hours or whatever it's been. So that's kind of where we're at with just a couple days left to go before the NBA trade deadline. So Bucks are in action tonight, and it's a 3-game homestand for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'd be curious to know, and if we have any like diehard Bucks fans and such out there, knowing that these rumors are rampant, that they're really out there, would you try to go to a Bucks game tonight, knowing Giannis isn't playing? That's the caveat in this whole thing too. Giannis ain't playing. But would you try to go to the Bucks game just to get one more glimpse, maybe one more glimpse of Giannis on the bench before he's traded? I'd be kind of curious to see if there's like an influx of ticket sales or attendance, even though the Bucks stink, but with these rumors and with no Giannis playing, but with all these rumors going on out there, would that be like a draw? Like, hey, I want to see Giannis one more time. It's like saying goodbye. I want to see him one more time on a Bucks bench, possibly. Don't know if it's going to be the case or not, but I want to try to see him one more time. I was thinking about that last night. Now, I think maybe if you were a diehard, yes. Maybe if you lived closer, probably. You may be a little bit more likely. And, of course, the amount of moolah, cash that it would take to watch that. But I'll be kind of curious. And I'll honestly be kind of curious, like, how the crowd reaction is tonight. Is there any, my mind's going, is there going to be any chance for Giannis to stay, or chance for like a thank you Giannis? Like, is there anything that's going to happen with that, since this is a 3-game homestand? We got it today. We got another game tomorrow, but who knows when a potential move could happen, if a move were to happen before Thursday. I am kind of curious to see if there's going to be a different fan reaction to Giannis on the bench. Because, again, he ain't playing. He's not playing, but he's going to be there. He's going to be on the bench as long as he's not traded before the game. So, I guess my vibe on this thing is again, I still don't think it's going to happen before Thursday. I really don't. I don't see it happening. I don't think the Bucks are in desperation mode where they have to try to get this thing done before Thursday. I don't see that. And I don't know if at this point in time, let's say it's one of those 4 teams, if they're going to be able to give up as much as they possibly can at this point in time, that would entice the Bucks to make this move. Bucks hold the cards. They're not the desperate ones here. They hold the cards. And they could ask for the moon. They can ask for the world right now for Giannis. And I don't know if they're going to get that. And it's such a unique, difficult thing to gauge when it comes to Giannis, because you have to try to define what is Giannis worth. What is he worth? That's what has to be figured out here. What is a team willing to give for one player, possibly one player? Maybe you can acquire Miles Turner in this thing here too, but essentially you're making these moves to acquire one player, and that's the Greek Freak. How do you put a price tag on that? What is that price tag? And when you look at other moves that have been made, in the last year or so, we've, talked about the Desmond Bains and you throw in that Luka trade, which that is the dumbest one so far in terms of value, because that was ridiculous. But you look at some of those moves, is it 6 first-round picks? What type of player are you willing to give up? Because those 4 teams that are mentioned on here too, those are teams that are wanting to compete this year, right? Those are teams that are wanting to compete right now for a championship. So you're not going to get a ton of ready now talent, right? You're not. It's not going to happen. So that's the difficult thing here. Try to figure out what that value is, and what that value is that you're willing to give up, and what that value is that the Bucks want in return. And I feel like that's why my vibe is kind of low, or my gut's kind of low, saying that this is going to happen by Thursday, because by all accounts, teams can give up some more draft picks at the end of the regular season. And if that's the case, if you're the Bucks and that's your priority, what's the harm in holding on to Giannis? I get it. Maybe you want to try to tank this year, and you don't want to have that awkward situation where when Giannis is cleared to come back and he's ready to come back, yeah, when he's playing, your odds of winning games are going to greatly improve. And if you move on from him right now and you trade him, it is clearly evident what your goal is going to be for this year, and that's to not win as many games and hope for a better draft pick. So what is the goal here for John Horst, for the Milwaukee Bucks? Is it to get a better draft pick for this year? Well, then that maybe means that you should move on from Giannis by Thursday. If you want to get that higher pick this year for yourself, yeah, maybe you need to move on from Giannis by Thursday. If it is just accumulating as many picks as possible, it's not necessarily trying to get a top pick this year, but trying to get as many picks as possible, as many players in return as possible, then maybe it is holding off until the end of the season. I don't envy the Bucks, Horse, ownership. I don't envy them right now in this position, because I can only imagine what it's like if they are having these negotiations, these chats, these trade proposals. Because what's going to be labeled with these guys? They're going to be labeled as the people that traded away Giannis. Yep, they've won a ring with him. They brought a championship back. But for a lot of fans, for a lot of people, it's still going to be, man, they're the ones that traded away Giannis. They're the ones that couldn't get the job done, outside of the one championship. They couldn't bring multiple championships. And I wonder, will this front office be viewed in a similar, I guess, fashion as those Packers teams with Favre and with Rodgers? You only got one. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to have that assumption. I think it's accurate in a lot of ways too. Now, you could say, well, at least the Bucs made moves to try to do it. They did. They tried. They just didn't work. Whereas you look at the Packers and, especially maybe during Ted Thompson's run, that didn't really make a ton of moves. Ron Wolf made some moves, but outside, later on in the career, like draft-wise, weren't that great. But there's definitely a lot of similarities, I would say, between the two. But right now, at this point in time, we're just kind of in a waiting pattern. We're in a holding pattern. We're waiting to see what happens, if anything's going to happen by Thursday. And if it does, man, it's going to be kind of a crazy day. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. We'll be back after these quick words. When it's time to shop, make it easy by going to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Maybe you're doing some partying this Sunday for the big game and you need some supplies and such. Hey, head on over to our good friends at Hy-Vee. They got you covered from fresh produce and bakery favorites to pantry staples, household items, and everyday essentials. Hy-Vee makes it simple to get everything you need in one stop. With friendly service, great selection, and helpful local teams ready to assist, shopping is always convenient. Shop in-store, online, use curbside pickup, and save time every week. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. We got a couple of texts coming up here. C-Bob says, question for us non-NBA fans. Wouldn't holding Giannis to get a boatload of picks be similar to holding on to, let's say, Max Crosby for 4 7th-round picks? If you're the Raiders, if draft picks aren't that big of a deal in the NBA, why don't you just get the best deal you can now? It's a little bit different because NBA has rules, restrictions on how many draft picks you can trade, and in the offseason, it opens up. Teams are allowed to trade more picks. So it's not necessarily, that they're going to trade more. There's restrictions on this. Does that make sense? Like, once the season's over, once you're on draft night, teams are allowed to trade more picks than what they are allowed to trade right now. So if the Bucks want more picks, they can wait until the offseason, wait till like draft night, and then more teams are able. They got more in their pockets. Like, the bank's giving them more money to spend. You get a little bit more cash. Mom and dad give you an allowance that night. All right? They give you a little bit more cash to go spend on some sports cards or something like that. That's the difference here when it comes to this. It opens up more available picks. Does that make sense, C-Bomb? Also, he says, what grinds my gears is watching organizations like Seattle and now New England, who have won Super Bowls, torn it down, rebuilt it, and are back in the Super Bowl. New England had Brady, but now they've done it with a second quarterback. Seattle did it with Wilson. Now Sam Darnold. John Schneider is phenomenal. My gears are grinding because we've had 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks and 2 Super Bowls to show for it. We need to take a page out of Seattle's playbook and refine how we are doing it. Jeremy, this is a really good question, man. In your opinion, what is the most annoying talk in Wisconsin sports? Giannis being traded, Favre retiring, Rodgers watch, or will the Brewers make a move? This is really good. I would probably go. Now, I wasn't doing radio for one of them. That would have been Favre. But I remember constantly checking online. It was always like when I was in school, Yahoo Sports was the big one. I don't know why, but I always loved Yahoo Sports. Sports.yahoo.com. I would always check it like, okay, what's the latest on Favre? Or tuning into ESPN. What's the latest on Favre and such? Man, I got to think about that one a little bit here. That is a really good question between those 4. That's a good one between those 4. Yeah, Let me think about that one a little bit. Because I think the difference with those 4, no offense, Yvonne, but I wouldn't add Fickle in that because I think these 4 are a little bit more longevity. Like it wasn't just necessarily one season. I mean, Favre was constant. Giannis has been going on for the last few years, whether it's, should big teams, this isn't just a thing for Giannis this year. This has been going on for a few years. Same with the Brewers and such. Rodgers watch you had out there too for a while. So, yeah, these are like multiple years. Ooh, that's a good one. And I'll throw it out to the rest of the listeners, see where they're at. I'm going to make that informal poll question. Jeremy, you get a gold star for this morning. That's a good one. My first instinct would be the Favre one. Just because, but then it was like this, I was down when it happened. Rodgers, I was just ready at that point. I was getting annoyed with. Okay, that may have answered it. It's probably. I was just ready to move on from Rodgers at that point because I was getting annoyed with everything. I don't want Giannis to be traded. I didn't want Favre to retire. I think the Brewers one, we're just holding on to false hope at times because we're so close and we're just like, maybe just once it'll happen. It's like, the girl that you have a crush on, maybe that one time she'll return your text, or maybe, she'll agree to go out for just one time. It's like the speech from Little Giants. One time, right? At halftime, one time. Maybe one time the Brewers can. Rodgers, I was just like, okay, dude, stop talking. I'm annoyed. I'm ready to move on. But, man, I could be convinced. In any other way. Jeremy, what about you? What's your pick, man? What's your pick? That's a good one. That's a really good one. I got to think about that one for a little bit. So, couple vibe checks here in terms of the Bucks. Ben says he doesn't think that the Bucks will trade Giannis by a Thursday, which is going to set up an interesting dynamic after the trade deadline if Giannis does want to continue to play and not sit out the rest of the season, but the Bucks want a higher draft pick. I feel like there's going to be some animosity and bad blood boiling between two sides. There is that possibility for sure. That's definitely a possibility. No question about it. Ultimately, though, I think the Bucks will play him. Like I feel like they're going to say, no, we're still going to play him. But I could see where there is that possibility or that potential. I could definitely see that. Eric says, I don't think the Bucks will trade Giannis just because I don't think they're going to get that package. That's going to make them say, absolutely, let's get this deal done. I think it's going to happen in the offseason as much as I want him to stay. And then we've got a text from Greg. Greg says, I don't think Giannis is going to be traded by Thursday. I think a lot of this talk is just getting a little bit out of control. I'm sure the Bucks are doing their due diligence to see if there is an offer that they cannot refuse, but ultimately, I don't think it'll be by Thursday. Dave says, if I had to pick, I don't think it will be, but deadlines spur actions, so we will see. Yeah. I agree with all that. C-Bomb says, for me, it was Favre watch. Every year you wondered if he was coming back. Then the handing of keys to Rodgers. Only to have Favre unretire. With Rodgers, everyone knew it was time. With the Brewers, the same thing every year, and we're fighting for a chance to be a bridesmaid. I'm sure Giannis deals like Favre for Bucks fans out there, just not me. Yeah, see, the thing is, though, with Favre, it was tiring, but at the same time, still wanted him to come back. At least I did. I wanted him to come back, whereas Rodgers, I was just like, I was annoyed to the part where I'm ready to move on. I'm ready. Just like I was getting annoyed talking about what he was saying and stuff. That to me was the annoying part. Was like, dude, I'm tired of what are you trying to say? What are you trying to insinuate here, sort of thing. I do wonder if the Favre one would have been more annoying, more out there if it happened during social media, like how it is now, or like it was with Rodgers. Because I feel like that would be an extreme, and that would have been all over the place, and I do feel like it would have been worse. So I think if Favre would have happened in today's world and in social media, then for me it would have been probably the most annoying, where it was just constant. And for me, I'd be like refreshing Twitter probably every 10 seconds looking for an update. Then it'd probably be number one for me. All right, we got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up the first hour. Continue to send us your thoughts. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Congrats to our good friends at EJM Automotive Services because they're opening up a second location coming up this Monday, February 9th at 1627 Bellinger Street. 1627 Bellinger Street. So congratulations to, again, our good friends, our good partners, AJM Automotive, for opening up their second location. And if you need service, you need 24-hour towing. Well, they got 24-hour towing available, but if you need a tow, you need some service work done, give them a call at 715-835-9523. If you need service before they open up their second location, they still got that Brackett Avenue location available as well. So, but again, good news for a lot of us who use AJM Automotive Service as well for all of our auto care needs. So congratulations again. You can check them out on Facebook for more details, and they got a link up there as well where you can book online. Coming up next hour, we'll throw some green and gold chat in there with the Packers officially making it official yesterday with the hiring of Jonathan Gannon as their defensive coordinator. We'll throw some Brewers chats into the mix coming up next hour as well. Don't forget, it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? You can get it off your chest and let us know in the next hour. Also, we're going to chat with the Eau Claire Express coming up just right around 9 o'clock, so a couple hours from now. So we'll talk some baseball with them too. So also, it is your Hy-Vee Game Changer. What is your game changer from the past week? It could be like a coaching move. It could be a hire, or maybe it was a basketball game or anything like that. It doesn't have to necessarily be the best, play or top play, anything like that. Obviously, a big trade this week would be a game changer too. If we get a big-time move, whether it's James Harden or Giannis by Thursday, that definitely would qualify for a game changer. So you can make your picks by hitting us up with quick text and such. So, but was opening night last night for the Super Bowl where you had the media availability and such. But I'm just let's get to Sunday already. All right, let's just get to Sunday here. And such and get to it. Like, I know we probably don't have a ton of Seattle and New England fans at this point in time, but are you at least give me a little bit of a vibe check in this thing? Are you excited? Are you intrigued with this matchup? For me, I'm taking away the team names. I get it. Like, Seattle's been there a couple times already, kind of what Seabaum was saying, and then obviously New England with Brady. If you take away the franchise names and you just kind of look at how these teams are built and how they've played this year, just from a competitive standpoint, are you intrigued? Are you excited for this Super Bowl matchup? It's different. It's not Eagles. It's not Chiefs, et cetera, or 49ers. It's a little bit different in that aspect. You got two quarterbacks that, Sam Darnold, I think, is a really, really awesome story, how his career has gotten him to this point. Drake May, younger quarterback, still fresh in the league. There's a lot of good storylines. I think for me, I take away the team names in this thing. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see this game, this matchup. So, Robert Kraft, Adam Schefter just a few minutes ago, not selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So there was some thought, would Kraft get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year because Belichick's not in it? Doesn't look to be the case. Oh, man, I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. Let's face it, though, too, the more of these guys, like a Kraft and a Belichick, aren't in it, maybe it helps a guy like Mike Holmgren. I don't know, but Holmgren should be in there. There should be a lot of coaches that are not in that Hall of Fame that should be in there. That's grinding my gears. I'll maybe deep dive into that more coming up in the next hour. I'll do that. I'll make the case why Holmgren should absolutely 100% be in the Hall of Fame. And there's other coaches, too, that should be in there. Shanahan should be in there. So I I get it, not trying to make it the Hall of Very Good and letting everybody in there, but this is coming at the expense of people who should absolutely be in there, and for whatever reason, they're not at this point. So, yeah, I'll dive into that next hour for my Grind My Gears. I am really curious to see who is going to make Eli. Did that pop out last week too? Eli's not in it, so I think Fitz is. I think is Drew Brees up for this year too. I'll look it up again during the break here and see what that class is. But we'll find out this week. And such. So, all right. So continue to send me your Grind My Gears. Continue to send me. Do you think Giannis going to get traded? You feel a little bit different from yesterday? Is your vibe different? What's your gut saying? Give me a yay or an A. Which way are you trending? That sort of thing. We'll talk some football coming up in the next hour. I'll talk some baseball as well with some Brewers chat. Throw that in there as we are getting closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting. We are just a few weeks away from our first spring training game. 3 weeks from this weekend, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly. It'll be 3 weeks from this weekend. We get our first spring training game for the Brewers. So got that to look forward to. C-Bomb says, unlike previous years, I actually want to see Seattle win. The way their team is built, and for Sam Darnold, it would be such an achievement. The way his career started with seeing ghosts. New England is solid, but they've had a lucky run of playing poor quarterbacks. I don't think they've been tested. I'm driving, so I can't pull up a list of quarterbacks they have beat this year, but it is stunning how poor of a competition they have faced. I like Drake May. Plenty of shots. I'd like to see Seattle pull this off and such. So, all right, just about a minute left here with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Well, ahead of the big game, here's pet peeves. We're going to talk because it's Grind My Gears Tuesday.
Okay.
It annoys me to no end why they release the commercials now.
Yeah, that's
why?
Dumb.
Because it's like everything now. It's like, why are we starting so early? Why are the commercials out on Tuesday?
I blame social media for this.
Because it was always better when you had to watch it real time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aside from incentivizing viewership or whatever, that was just part of the game. Because if you were like mid interested in the teams, the ads were at least, you kind of stuck around for. But making them known now, like the Budweiser one came out last week.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it either.
So I'm going to give you a list of pet peeves, and you have to rate them 1 to 5. 1 being like doesn't bother me at all, and 5 being like someone's getting throat punched.
Okay.
Loud chewing.
4.
Slurping.
2 or 3.
Okay, how about pen clicking?
2.
That doesn't bother you?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Cracking knuckles.
1 or 2.
Talking during movies.
5.
That's a hard 5 for me. Loud phone calls.
3.
Really? Even the public speaker thing?
I mean, if speakerphone or just like loud on the other end, I like to eavesdrop. So.
Oh, I suppose there is that voyeuristic tendency that gets satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay. How about people that wear too much perfume or cologne?
Probably about 3.5, 4.
People taking food off your plate.
It depends if I like the food or not.
Okay, chicken nuggets.
No, probably about 3.
Not replying to messages.
5.
That was a fast 5. I didn't even get the question out.
5.
Okay, how about interrupting?
5.
Being late.
6.
Oh, we're burying the needle.
Yeah.
Okay, I will die on this hill. It is equally rude to be too early to something.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay, depending on what though.
Okay,
like
say
like
you're
a
having
party.
Sure, you're having say you're having a Super Bowl party. And you're like, okay, everybody show up at 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
And someone rolls in at 12:30.
Yeah, that annoys
rude.
me too. No, that annoys me. I'm saying like I was always early to class just because of my clock.
Right.
That's not rude.
Okay.
So 5 seconds.
Driving, failing to signal.
5.
Cutting in line.
5.
Talking to me.
All right, second quarter, second hour, kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning of February 3rd. Thanks for tuning in however you are tuning in, whether it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got the Google and Alexa home devices. You've got your YouTube video stream also up and rolling. I'm getting sidetracked here because I'm trying to find some stuff here for the Pro Football Hall of Fame so I can banter about that sort of thing. But nonetheless, multiple different ways for you to be tuning in here. And then you've got that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, which you can hit us up with some text, 715-830-1912. So, I am finalists. Belichick are competing against. Okay, so this is to kind of refresh it a little bit with this Pro Football Hall of Fame class, which we're going to find out this weekend who it's going to be. So the finalists and the coaches and the contributor categories are competing against 3 senior nominees because each voter can select only 3 finalists. Multiple sources among the voters have predicted it was possible, maybe even probable. Okay, this was an older. So with no Kraft and with no Belichick, I wonder if all the 3 senior players are going to make it. That would be Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, and was it Greenwood from the Steelers. Okay. Yeah, I wonder, because this is the thing too. This is, I think, what the Pro Football Hall of Fame has done now is created this backlog. This is kind of what's grinding my gears. This backlog of quality coaches that should be in the Hall of Fame. That's Mike Shanahan, Tom Coughlin, Mike Holmgren, and they're probably going to have to, if they continue just to do like the one coach sort of thing, Belichick's, pushed off to the next year and such, those guys are probably going to have to wait longer. You look at, this is my issue now. So NFL coaches are all time. Let me bring this up. This is a list right now of coaches who are in the Hall of Fame. Don Shula, of course, George Halas, Tom Landry, Curly Lambeau, Paul Brown, Chuck Noll. Those guys are all top 10 in, if we just look at regular season wins. Okay, those guys are top 10 and deservedly so. I have no problem with any of those guys in the Hall of Fame. Bill Parcells, he's in the Hall of Fame. Bud Grant, he's in the Hall of Fame. Joe Gibbs, Hall of Fame. Steve Owen, Hall of Fame. Marv Levy, he's in the Hall of Fame. And then you've got, go down a little bit further. You got Weeb Eubank. You've got Sid Gilman. I think he's more in there for player. But Ditka's in there. One Super Bowl. Dick Vermeil, he's in there. And you've got guys like Tom Coughlin. Let me do this by Super Bowl. So here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Coaches with multiple Super Bowls that are in the Hall of Fame, okay? Chuck Noll, Bill Belichick's not going to be. Andy Reid, I would imagine, is going to be at some point. Joe Gibbs is. Bill Walsh is. Don Shula is. Tom Landry is. Bill Parcells is. Tom Flores is. Vince Lombardi is. Jimmy Johnson is. Guys like Mike Shanahan are not. George Seifert, he's not in it. Tom Coughlin, he's not in it. Mike Holmgren, he has been to 3 Super Bowls, won 1. But Bill Cowher is in it, where Mike Holmgren has more wins than him. Granted, Bill Cowher, 2 fewer years, a little bit better of a win percentage. And then you've got, like Tony Dungy's in there for the Hall of Fame. He's got 1 Super Bowl win, not as many wins. Didn't coach as long, but he's got a great, 668 win percentage. So Mike Holmgren should be in there. Tom Coughlin should be in there. Mike Shanahan should be in there. These coaches, I almost feel like they just got to, I know they did it for the 100-year anniversary and they opened it up, and that's how Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson got in there. But it is a disservice to not have those other three guys in there and Bill Belichick, those four coaches. For crying out loud, can we just make one exemption to get those guys in there? Can we just do that? Can we please do that? Because they absolutely deserve to be in there. Andy Reid is going to absolutely deserve to be in there when his career is all said and done. Andy Reid right now is 4th on the all-time wins list. How many away is he from Shula here? Because I gotta do the math here. So if we look at it from regular season wins, Andy Reid is 49. I don't think he catches Shula. I do think he could catch Bill Belichick. So Andy Reid is just 23 wins away from matching Bill Belichick, who is currently 3rd for the most regular season wins of all time. Now, if we're talking about postseason wins, Bill Belichick's got 31, Andy Reid's got 28. So there's I think a decent chance for Andy Reid to catch him. But I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame's got to do a better job of getting these coaches in, getting these rightful, well-deserving coaches into the Hall of Fame. Looking at this list of who's potentially next besides Belichick and Andy Reid, let's say Mike Tomlin never coaches again. 193 wins, 2 Super Bowl appearances, won 1 Super Bowl. Honestly, I feel like Mike Tomlin's going to get in. So why can't Mike Holmgren get in? Why can't Tom Coughlin get in? If Mike McCarthy wins a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh, he's got 2 Super Bowl wins. And he is currently 19 wins away in the regular season from being top 10 all time. That's going to be an interesting debate, I feel like, for a lot of people. Can you imagine McCarthy gets a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh? He's already got one with Green Bay. I don't know. That'll be an interesting debate when it does happen. So, I hate this process. I hate this. I hate this. So, surveyor chiming in. Good morning, DK. You know what grinds my gears? The Hall of Fame committees in all sports. You mean to tell me that players, coaches, and even front office personnel can bust their butts for years and even decades, win multiple accolades, and be considered some of the greatest to ever do it, but writers and voters who might have personal vendettas against a certain person or persons can single-handedly keep people who are deserving from the Hall of Fame? This is bogus. I thought that the Pro Football Hall of Fame was starting to make it the Hall of Good. Boy, was I wrong. First Bill, now Bob. Ridiculous. Yeah, Robert Kraft, not in the Hall of Fame, which, I mean, I get it to an extent that you want to try to get some of these senior players in before it gets too long, or maybe they've waited too long and such, but it's just, I don't know right now what the right answer is. I don't know how to fix it. I understand you don't want to have it completely open to where it is a free-for-all for everybody. You got to have a max. I understand it. The cap, put a certain number on every year. But I also feel like, can we adjust it for certain circumstances? Like, I hate the thought of potential players, coaches, and that getting in when they're not around anymore. Like, that's why I'm glad Jerry Kramer got in. When Jerry Kramer should have got in a long time ago. But thankfully he was able to get in so he could see, himself getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. What boggles my mind is like the Kramer one, how close he was for how many years, and then he still has to wait longer. It's like, okay, if he's that close, for multiple years. Get the man in. Put him in. So, all right. Continue to send me your grind my gears, though. All right, 715-830-1912. C-Bomb wanted me to Google the Patriots quarterbacks that they faced. I'll Google the teams they faced this year. So they lost to the Raiders to open up the season. Then they beat the Dolphins. Then the Steelers beat them. So the Patriots started off 1-2. Then they beat the Panthers. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Saints. They beat the Titans. They beat the Browns. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Jets. Let me just bring this one up. When they played the Bengals, Burrow wasn't playing, right? Nope, it was Flacco. Okay, but they beat the Bengals. Giants, Bills beat them. Then they beat the Ravens, Jets, and Dolphins. So, I mean, for quarterback-wise, they played Josh Allen twice. They played Lamar Jackson for a hot minute. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson was 7 of 10. Then Tyler Huntley came in after that. So, the Giants won. Jackson Dart, they played against. Baker. I mean, I get what you're saying. Rodgers and such. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I know a lot of people have kind of criticized or pointed out the quote-unquote weak schedule that the Patriots had. But, hey, I'm not taking away. Patriots did what they're supposed to do. They won their games, and they got to the Super Bowl. So they're in a position that I wish my team was in right now. So I can't knock them for that. Maybe, was it an easier schedule for them than a lot of teams? Most definitely, probably. But at the same time, they're still fighting for that championship, and they could still be the team that gets crowned at the end. So would it be different if Bo Nix played in that AFC championship game? Could have been. Very well could have been. But they did what they were supposed to do, and they got that W. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. We'll talk some more football, talk some green and gold. Continue to send us your thoughts. You think Giannis is going to be on the move by Thursday? Where's your vibe, 1 through 10? Let us know. Quick break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. When joint pain, stiffness, or injury affects your daily life, just turn to Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Their experienced physicians and care teams provide comprehensive orthopedic care for shoulders, hips, knees, backs, and more. Focused on helping you move comfortably again. From diagnosis to treatment and recovery, you'll receive personalized care close to home. Learn more or schedule an appointment online at cvosm.com. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, expert care to keep you moving. Unknown texter, don't have a name, can't give cred, says, isn't this the same as LeBron leaving Cleveland? Bucks got one championship, tried making moves and got burned. Get whatever picks you can and trade him. It would be ignorant to think you're going to get another championship with one star player nowadays. Salary cap trouble and paying 3 coaches, I believe. Start over, maybe get lucky drafting and developing other players. I wouldn't say it's exactly like LeBron because he didn't. First of all, LeBron, one, has never been traded. LeBron's always left on his own accord. But I think I could kind of maybe see what you're saying here, like get something in return instead of letting him walk in free agency sort of thing. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. And then LeBron didn't win it with his first run with Cleveland. He came back, paired up with Kyrie and such, and got that championship, and then left again. Left Cleveland again. So little bit different, but I could see where you're getting some similarities in that thing. And I think what's unique to it too is that LeBron was originally from Cleveland, and I think that was the driving force for him to go back, is to try to win championship for his team, for his city and such. That's just my thoughts on it. So, but switching gears here, Packers yesterday officially making it official. Jonathan Gannon, their new defensive coordinator. So that is anybody kind of wondering, is that maybe not going to happen? It is officially official now. He is the new defensive coordinator, and part with a statement that came with the announcement from a couple quotes here from Matt LaFleur, saying that we are thrilled to add Jonathan Gannon to our coaching staff. He possesses tremendous experience as an NFL coordinator and head coach. I am confident that he will be an outstanding addition to our organization, as well as a strong leader for our defense. So that was just a quote from Matt LaFleur with this press release from yesterday. It was also revealed that Brian Gutekunst will finally have his season-ending press conference tomorrow. So you'll finally be chatting with the local media and such, and hold that presser. And obviously, I think we can all agree this is a rather important, big, huge, however you want to describe it, offseason for the Packers. Their window is still now. I think most of us can agree with that, right? You make a move for like a Micah Parsons last year, and you trade 2 first-round picks for him. Your window's now as long as you've got him on that roster, and he's still, I was going to say still healthy, but he's recovering. Assuming he recovers well, and he's still going to play at a high level, your window's now. So I know the salary cap has kind of been released out there, so teams have an idea, or the projection, I guess it was released. Teams have an idea of what that salary cap's going to be. Now, if we use Spot Track here, Green Bay currently, as it stands right now, they're about $4 million over the salary cap. Now, they could easily get under it with some extensions or releasing some players like Rashawn Gary, who has got currently the second highest cap hit on this Packers team, and Elton Jenkins, who has the 4th highest cap hit on this team. So since I have it up, I can just kind of give you an idea. Let's just say it's a release of Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins, kind of the thought many people have. Just by releasing those 2 players, the Packers now have $24.4 million available in cap space just from releasing those two players. Now, there could be other moves. There could be something with Nate Hobbs. If they decide to release him, if we're just rounding up, they're going to be taking on a $12 million dead cap hit, but his cap hit this year is about 12.9. So you're saving almost $1 million. Not much, but you're also not getting much production out of it. Now, they could do the post June 1st and create more cap space that way. Maybe similar to an Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks right now has the second, if we release Rashawn Gary, has the second highest cap hit on this team. Those two contracts that they signed, that Goody signed those two guys to. If we look at year one, they weren't good. They do not look like really good signings at this point. So that's why I feel like this offseason just got a little bit more important, a little bit more pressure on Goody. He got his extension. Okay, he's under contract for the next few years. He's not essentially working for a new contract. But you make the move for Micah last year. Awesome, great, perfect. But the moves that you made before that, signing Aaron Banks to that contract and Nate Hobbs to that contract, they don't look good. They don't look good. So I feel like now you're heading into this offseason. It's like, whew, what are two of my biggest areas of need? Corner and offensive line, along with defensive line. But you made two free agent, quote, splash moves last year at those two position groups, and you're heading into this offseason looking at, I still need upgrades in those position groups. I need to be better. I need better depth at those position groups because big part of that is the two free agent signings that I had last year didn't work out. So I'm looking at, let me refresh this. I think it's inevitable. Rashawn's going to get released. You're going to open up that cap space. Elton's going to get released. You open up nearly just $20 million alone by releasing Elton Jenkins. And while for some, they'd be like, well, if offensive line is one of your biggest weaknesses, why release maybe your best offensive lineman at that point? It's a valid question. I think one thing is he's 31 right now. Packers mostly, I don't want to say all the time, but mostly don't give their guys like a third contract. They did with Kenny Clark, and look how that kind of turned out here. Now I get it. They probably did envision trading for Micah Parsons when they re-upped Kenny Clark in that. But they're probably thinking, okay, we're not going to really give a third contract to a guy because historically, more times than not, they haven't done that. Now, could it be possible where they kind of do a little of the extension and lower down that cap hit? Sure. Is it possible that maybe they do the whole A.J. Hawk thing? Remember after the Super Bowl, his free agent, released him, and then they brought him back? Sure. They could do that too. But ultimately, I think Elton Jenkins will not be back in Green Bay. And if he is back in Green Bay, I almost want him just to go back to guard. I think that's where he's best suited at. Just my thoughts there. I do think there's probably going to be an extension restructure with Josh Jacobs to lower his cap hit because he does have a $14.5 million cap hit. I know there are some people out there saying, are they going to release him because it would open up $8 million? That, I would think, is going to be idiotic. That one I feel like is going to be more of the extension type. Devontae Wyatt, they could work on an extension with him and lower his nearly $13 million cap hit because right now he's got the 8th highest cap hit on this team. But, yeah, I think this is as long as their window is now, as long as you're paying your quarterback, you've got your quarterback, you've got a guy like Micah Parsons and such, your window is now. It puts a lot more pressure in this offseason. And if I had to ask Goody one question, and it would be like, Okay, let's go to the bar. I'm going to buy you a beer off the record. Answer this question for me. Because he isn't going to publicly admit it. But answer this question for me, Goody. Seeing your buddies, John Schneider and Elliott Wolf, in this weekend's Super Bowl. Okay, John Schneider obviously got a GM job before you did. But this is his third Super Bowl appearance. Elliott Wolf now, the guy that you were essentially competing against for the job in Green Bay that you currently have. It was between you two, you guys. And he has made a Super Bowl before you. Does that drive you? Does that kind of like get that competitive juices inside you going a little bit more? It's like, dang it. While they're my friends and they're my buds and all that, like I'm happy for them. But at the same time, it's like, son of a gun. I got to get one. I got to get there. Yeah, you do, man. You absolutely do. I would hope that kind of drives him. I would hope that kind of motivates him. I get it. There's only, certain things he can do bringing in these players, and then it's up to the coaches and the players to get the most out of them and such. But you look at this Super Bowl, it has got Green Bay fingerprints all over it with the two GMs in charge of roster construction on this thing. And I feel like for some fans, maybe they're kind of not thinking, and I'm not saying they should, but, I know there's going to be some fans that are going to compare Jonathan Gannon and Jimmy Leonard. They're going to compare these two defenses now. Haven't quite heard a whole lot about that, or haven't heard a whole lot about Goody versus Elliott Wolf right now. Because right now, Elliott Wolf 1, Goody 0. Super Bowl appearances. It was those two guys for the finalists for replacing Ted Thompson. The Packers went with Goody. They didn't go with Ron Wolf's son, which upset a lot of Packers fans at the time. Elliott Wolf decided to move on. And he kind of had to pay his dues. He went to Cleveland for a little bit, worked under a couple other people and such, worked under Belichick for a little bit. Belichick leaves. New England's like, all right, kind of be the interim guy and all that sort of stuff. Then he gets the job and boom, knocked it out of the park with his first full year with that full title. Nailed it. I hope that's motivating Goody here. Like, man, Johnny's got 3 appearances. He's already got a ring, and now E, his name, they always called him E. Now E's there. I hope it drives him. I really do. All right, we got to take another quick break here. But we'll be back with more football talk, more hoops, more baseball. We've got Badger Chat coming up in under an hour as well. Stick around. Plenty to get to. We'll be right back after these quick words. Coach V, I absolutely 100% did lose 45 pounds. I did lose 45 pounds with River Valley weight loss. The heaviest I was at was about 235. 235. So lost 45, got under 200. I'll tell you a couple things with that. I noticed last year after I had lost it, my golf game was actually a little bit better. Still not a great golfer, but I was like, all right, starting to swing it better, feels better, less like an unfolded lawn chair sort of thing. But also, the big thing for me too was the visceral fat. The fat around the organs and such, because the liver enzymes spiked and all that. That was over like 12, and I got it down to a 5%. So that was like the biggest thing for me. So yeah, and it worked really quick for me as well. Only just a few months, lost all that weight and keeping it where it's at too. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I know everybody says, well, if it works for me, it can work for you. I'll tell you what, if it can work for me and my habits and my weird schedule of getting up at 3:00 in the morning, going to work, doing this, and then picking up the kid, and then either coaching football, basketball, or baseball, and still able to get this done. Oh yeah, it absolutely works. So I recommend, if anybody wants more information, hey, reach out to me. Okay, you can reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with River Valley Weight Loss. All right. And then my wife actually did it too. So my wife did it too, and she lost she lost weight too, and she looks even more fantastic. So, but yeah, to answer your question, Coach, I did. I sure did. So I want to throw this out there, because I saw somebody had sent this graphic comparing the first 3 years of Favre, Rodgers, and Jordan Love. And I know that's been all over the place, comparable numbers and such. But I want to ask this question, because we've talked about like the Sam Darnold rebound, great story to be where he's at. No question, right? Just an awesome story. But let me ask you this. If let's say Brett Favre was playing today, and I get it, different era as such, so it's probably nice, but I just want to throw these numbers out here. And you tell me if Brett Favre would have gotten the chance he did in Green Bay like they gave him in 92 and 93. So he comes in, obviously we know the story in 92, okay? He finishes 8-5. 18 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Okay. For a guy, maybe he didn't know what to expect. He did trade a first rounder for him. It's like, okay. 93, though, 19 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. Made a Pro Bowl that year, too. Those 2 years, let's say those are the first 2 years, because the NFL right now is in such a what have you done for me lately, especially when it comes to quarterback play. Insert those numbers right now. Let's put that's Brett Favre right now in 2025, 2026. Let's say those are the 2 seasons he's had. Is Brett Favre still a starting quarterback in this league, in this current league with those numbers? I'm just take away the fan part of it. Take away, your emotional attachment to it. But what do you think? I don't know if he is. I think a lot would obviously depend on the team he's going to be on, the coach and that sort of thing. But in today's game, where if your quarterback isn't playing at a high level right now, I don't know. I don't know if he does. Now, to be fair, 94, he bounces back and throws 33 touchdown passes, 14 interceptions. doesn't make a Pro Bowl that year. Obviously, then 95 starts the MVP and such. But here's a what if, because if you know your story and you know your history too, I mean, Mike Holmgren seriously thought about sitting down Brett Favre and going to Mark Brunell and such, and Detmer or whatever. Had that meeting with his coaches. What if? What if Holmgren decides to bench Favre? Not only how does that change Favre's career, how does that change the Packers, Mike Holmgren? You know, the butterfly effect to everything. One decision that a lot of other coaches probably would have made and saying, bench him, sit him. Some of his assistants wanted that to happen. I think the story was it right before the Vikings game in Minnesota? There's like a what? Like, do they win a Super Bowl? Maybe not. Is Holmgren let go? Maybe. It's one little decision could have such a huge impact into a franchise's success, into a player's career, into a coach's career. But you put those 2 years on the table that Favre put out there. How many and put them into today's game and today's thoughts of all this pressure on these quarterbacks to perform right away and to have great numbers right away. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he does. To answer another question, if you want to hit up our good friends at River Valley Weight Loss, this is the number for you. 534-200-5755. 534-200-5755. C-Bomb says, no way Favre gets to where he is without Holmgren. In Green Bay, we were nobody. We were awful. No quarterback success outside of 89 with the Magic Man. Most coaches would have benched him even back then. 93, 19 touchdowns, 24 picks. Holmgren stuck with him and reeled him in. Favre wouldn't have had the success without Holmgren. Oh, I would agree with that. But, you know, the question is like, you put those numbers in today's game? Like, and maybe the other part in this, like, too, is would Favre have survived the social media era that we are in right now? I don't think he does. I think Brett Favre was like the perfect quarterback at that time before social media really got out of control. Back end of his career, yeah, it was, you know, starting to become a thing and such. But, social media, I don't know if Favre would have been maybe the player that's, you know, yesterday the topic was that we kind of threw out there, in your lifetime, who was the most beloved Wisconsin sports athlete? I don't want to say like figure, because I would argue that if it's not over 95%, then we're either kidding or it's really close. Euchre, I think, would be the most beloved Wisconsin sports figure of all time. But if we kept it to just players, my lifetime, I think it's still Favre. In my 40-ish years, I think it's Favre. But if Favre had played during the social media era and those numbers and that, he might not have been. Maybe then it is Giannis. Maybe it is a Robin Young or somebody else. But, man, we don't think about that, I think, nearly enough. Like the perfect era. We compare these players to, you know, eras in terms of who's the best. We compare them numbers-wise. But we don't always kind of compare, okay, what's that era been like? Like, I don't know if Favre could play in today's era, to be honest with you, because of you keep everything the same, even as off the field stuff and social media. I don't know. Not to mention he was a party animal. Anywhere outside of Green Bay, he would have became Ryan Leaf. Drugs and alcohol would have got him. Heck, even in Green Bay, the painkillers just about ended him. All right. I don't know. It was just somebody had sent me that graphic, and I'm like, man, what if? What if? One simple decision. One simple decision could have altered the course of history for a lot of people and a lot of franchises. Today, he wouldn't make it. Maybe with the right coach, if they would stick through 3 seasons, but nobody waits anymore. Look at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. Don't perform year 3, you are out. Look how ready Minnesota is. Look how ready Minnesota is to move on from McCarthy. All right, final break, and then it's going to be halftime here. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Looking for a great place to gather in the Chippewa Valley? Then you need to check out the VFW Post 305. With a full calendar of events, live music, and a menu packed with crowd favorites, it's a spot where everyone feels welcome. Whether you're stopping in for a casual night out, meeting some friends, or catching up over some great food and beverages, there's always something happening at the VFW Post 305. You can find them at 1300 Star Avenue right here in Eau Claire. And mark your calendars for our March Madness Skip Day, March 20th. We're going to be hanging out at the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue, watching the little hoops, doing the program over there and such. It's always a good time when we're over there. So if you got the day off, like I know a lot of people take the day off for Friday of March Madness, hang out with us at the VFW Post 305. So, okay, well, I can't say all that, C-Bomb, but C-Bomb said no way Favre could have survived social media. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. So I don't want to get in trouble or start anything there too. So, all right, coming up in about, let's say, 25 minutes, we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna chat some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Badger basketball not back in action until this weekend, but we're pretty much in the final month of the regular season here. And this Badger team, maybe a little bit on the bubble of the tournament, helped out a little bit by beating Ohio State, no doubt about it, but big stretch of games coming up here for Wisconsin where they could really solidify their chances of making the tournament. We're going to talk some hockey, too. Men's team, not right now. You're looking at coming off their weekend against the Gophers, where they dropped both games against the Gophers. Before that, they dropped both games against Penn State. They dropped both games against Michigan State. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it, 6-game losing streak right now, and now you've got Notre Dame coming to the Kohl Center. So we'll talk a little bit about the men's hockey team, the current states of their funk right now. The women's team, they're coming off of, excuse me, choking up here a little bit. They're coming off of a split against the Gophers of Minnesota, dropping the first one, but then getting a 6-1 victory. They've got Ohio State coming up this weekend. So we'll chat a little bit about both the hockey teams, both the basketball teams and such with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Coming up in about an hour, about 9 o'clock, a little after 9 o'clock, we'll talk some baseball. The Eau Claire Express is going to be joining us. I know tickets and such, just opening up group outings and such. So we'll chat with them to kind of get started for the upcoming 2026 season. I know it's a couple months away, but it's never too early to think spring and think baseball, right? So we'll chat with owner Craig Toyson and their new general manager, Jake Horan. So they're going to be joining us shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. Continue to send me your Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Hit us up. Also, what is your Hy-Vee game changer? All right. Maybe it was a coach hiring that you're like, that's going to be a game changer. Or maybe it's a basketball game, a play that happened in there, or something from the past week. What is your game changer? All right. Send those on over too. And give me a vibe. How you feeling right now on this Tuesday before the NBA trade deadline? What's your gut telling you? Do you think Giannis is going to be traded by Thursday? Yay or nay? What's your gut say? Has it changed from yesterday? Kind of a little bit of a gauge here. So we'll get back to your thoughts, your thinking on that throughout the rest of the 2 hours here too. So I do want to get to a little bit of Brewers chat as well. So we'll throw in some Brewers chat as we get a little bit closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting, spring training, first game 3 weeks from this Saturday, I believe it is. So it's going to be here before you know it, man. I'm ready for baseball. I'm ready to get to some baseball season, though. A little warmer weather and such. Oh, yeah. So, All right, halftime, 2 and 2 more to go. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be back after these news updates. Halftime's over with. Third quarter kicks off right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. If it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got your Alexa, Google devices. Also the Wisco Sports App and the YouTube video stream rocking and rolling here this morning. Coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, talk all things Badgers, Badger hoops, talk some hockey too. Not a great stretch here for the Badger men's hockey team. So we'll hit that up. I did see an updated bracketology from Joe Lenardi, where when we looked at it yesterday, he kind of had Wisconsin as a little bit of a bubble team here. Where does he have them at now? Scrolling through it. 9 seed. Okay. He's got him as a 9, taking on number 8. Did move up. So he did have him at 10. Moved up. Again, I almost would rather have the 10 seed taken on maybe the 7 seed so you can play it. Regardless, Joe Lenardi's bracket, he's got him as a 9 seed taking on NC State, and if they were to win, probably taking on the top seed UConn. So his 1 seed so far: UConn, Duke, Arizona, of course, and Michigan. So, but we'll talk. Is the bracketologists out there? Are they giving Wisconsin enough cred? Is it about right? Is it not fair? Do you think they're kind of that quote bubble-ish team right now? Well, we'll get RJ's thoughts on that as well. Coming up an hour, we'll catch up with our friends from the Eau Claire Express. Talk a little bit about maybe some previewing the upcoming 2026 season and such. So. We'll hit that up. Also, continuing to take your Grind My Gears. What is grinding your gears? You can let us know. Hit us up with a quick message. Also, your game changers for the week. Bucks are back at it tonight, taking on the Chicago Bulls. Tip time's at 7. Coverage will begin at about 6:30 on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. This is a home stretch now for the Bucks. Will it be the last time we see Giannis on the bench for the Milwaukee Bucks? We know he's not playing, still dealing with that calf injury, but will this be the last time, today or tomorrow, that we see Giannis on the Bucks bench? My gut, I am still going to say no. Now, I know the latest report out there from ESPN, so I know some people, many people, have questions about ESPN and their reporting with Giannis, and I get it. I understand it. But if we just kind of use that as our base right now, Bucks apparently are submitting counteroffers. Whether that means anything is really close remains to be seen at this point. I feel like the Bucks, I feel like, are in control here. They hold the cards. Essentially, they have to answer this question. In my opinion, they have to answer this question. Do they want to, quote, tank for the rest of the year to improve their chances at a higher pick? Because if that's the case, then I think, okay, they may be a little bit more motivated to trade Giannis before Thursday's deadline. Because if you don't, you are going to have to play Giannis when he is ready. And that may lead to more wins for you and maybe not as high of a pick. They have to answer that question, what is the ultimate goal? If our ultimate goal is to now lose as many games as possible so we can get a better draft pick, then maybe you're a little bit more motivated to trade Giannis before Thursday's deadline. If that is not a motivation for them, and maybe they just want to accumulate as much as possible in a return from Giannis, they may be better suited to wait until after the season, when rules allow teams to trade more draft picks and such. Maybe you have a bigger pool of teams that are going to be willing to add more to some proposals and such. So I think it ultimately, the Bucks have to answer this question. What do you want that higher pick for yourself? Because if you're going to trade Giannis to a team right now, it's going to be to a contending team, and it's not really going to be a high pick. We know this, right? You know, the 4 teams that are mentioned: Warriors, Knicks, Timberwolves. You know, it's teams that are championship goals for this year. So you're not getting like a superstar player in return. Oh, Heat was the other one too. maybe you have, I don't know. I don't envy to be in the position of John Horst and the Bucks right now, because on one hand, how do you determine the value of Giannis? What's the value? What is he worth? He's worth a lot, but how do you put that in terms of a trade package? It's tough to kind of figure out, but also you're going to be on the hook for trading arguably the best player in franchise history. I don't envy to be in that situation. So I still feel like they're not going to get it done by Thursday. Maybe deadlines at spur actions, and maybe there's going to be that one team that is just going to be like, you know what? We're desperate. We really want this to happen. So yeah, we'll pay a little extra. It's kind of a game of chicken right now at this point. That's just kind of where I'm at. It kind of feels like James Harden is most likely to be traded right now when you look at it from the latest reports. Apparently, Cleveland is one of the teams expressing serious interest in James Harden. Harden has veto power over any trade because he's technically under contract for only this season. The second year of a 2-year, $81.5 million deal. Now, when we look at this, though, too, I mean, the Clippers, as of right now, the Clippers are in the playoffs. They're the 9th seed in the Western Conference. They're 23-26, but they were on that nice run there, too. I mean, they were 7-3 in their last 10. So, yeah. I guess I was. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't follow a lot with the Clippers and outside of the Bucks. Kind of a little surprised to see James Harden, wanting out of Dodge and such. But yeah, this is the thing too that I have with another. And we've talked about it when it comes to the NBA. This constant movement of superstar players and best players and such. It's just, it's frustrating as a fan. It's so frustrating as a fan. This is one of the things, if I could change something in the sports world, like if I had this magic wand where I could say, we're going to get rid of this. I don't know how I'd get rid of it, but we're going to stop this from happening. I don't care the sport. Superstars, top players, always demanding trades and such, because I guess I feel more for it for the younger fans. Now just being a dad and an 8-year-old and such, like he's going to be devastated if Giannis is traded. I mean, he already knows it's possible, but he is going to be devastated. He doesn't quite grasp the whys of this. Like, he's hearing the worst. Well, we better get Steph Curry in return. It doesn't happen that way, kid. And doesn't quite understand that. Like, well, but, I mean, you trade one of the best players, you should get a best player. Yeah. Like, I feel now for younger fans and such, because it's hard when you see, your favorite team has one of the best players, but they may be out. That's the sports world now. And if there's one thing I could wave a magic wand on that, it would, not to say to get rid of any trades or such like that, but it just feels like every year there's something. And that's why I feel like the NBA, more than any other team, has just become so individualized. Like it's almost become an individual sport at this point. I feel like more fans now are just clamoring towards being a fan of that player instead of maybe a team, because there's so much player movement now. And you just kind of gravitate towards one player and you just kind of follow them throughout their career. I mean, for crying out loud, top 2 player of all time has played on 3 different teams, 4 different, I mean, Cavs twice, Lakers, Heat, talking about LeBron, and now there's a possibility he might be on a different team next year. I didn't think we'd ever see the day of that. Like when you're talking about one of the best players of all time. And 5 different teams potentially. Oh, now Jerry Rice kind of did that towards the end of his career, I guess. So, I mean, what was it? 49ers, Raiders, Seahawks, Was he with the Dolphins, Rob? Then he was with Denver in training camp. Was he Dolphin? I got to double check that. That's like a good trivia question. So San Francisco, Raiders. No, it wasn't the Dolphins. Why did I think Dolphins for a hot minute? Okay. No, I was wrong. For some reason, I thought Dolphins. I must be thinking of somebody. Yeah, I'm thinking of somebody else. So maybe Carter? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, all right. Let's take a quick break here. We'll talk some Badgers. Switch gears here. Badger men's hockey going through a rough stretch right now. We'll talk to RJ about that. We'll talk some hoops. Is the bracketologists out there treating the Badger men's basketball team fairly? Undervaluing them? Underrating them? Just rights? We'll hit that up. Plus, we'll talk about the women's hockey team, too, splitting against the Gophers and a boatload of Badger stuff coming up after these quick words. Switching gears, we're going to talk some Badgers because we've got lots to catch up on. Hoops, hockey, all that good stuff. Let's bring in our expert, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, this morning. Good morning, R.J. How you doing, sir?
Morning. Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I wanna lead things off talking some hoops with you, and it's kind of that time of the year, looking at all the bracketology. Whether it's Joe Lunardi or Jerry Palm from CBS Sports and such. And it seems like they all have Wisconsin as like a 9 seed right now, and it was before that Ohio State game. Some of them had Wisconsin as kind of on a bubble team right now. So let me ask you, RJ, are the bracketologists out there undervaluing Wisconsin just right? Or do you think, what are your thoughts? Because I think for some people, they're like, really, Wisconsin's a bubble team? You think that's the case with this team right now?
I think right now they're waiting to see where Wisconsin will be finishing in the conference, and not necessarily their placement in the conference, but where they stand in terms of record in the conference. I think if you have an above 500 record in the conference, you'll be in the tournament. I think for the most part, there's been a couple of years where, I think last year you had Iowa and Indiana who were both like one game over 500 in conference, but then they were also kind of hovering around a little closer to 500 in the non-conference and ended up missing the NCAA tournament. So I think it's one of those right now. They don't want to seem like they're overzealous on the Badgers and putting them in right away and letting the season play out so they can move them around as they see fit to make themselves look good. So putting them on as a bubble team, as in the last 4 in or on the bubble, I think is an appropriate place to put the Badgers right now, because when you have as volatile of a team as we've seen in a little bit, where, we've seen it in a game, you score 17 points in the first half against Minnesota, and then go on to score 50 in the second half and win the game. Things like that can make people a little nervous. So I think it's appropriate, and ultimately I do think the Badgers will get into the NCAA tournament because they still have a decent schedule here where they can pile up some wins to try to guarantee a winning record in the conference.
And that's kind of my next question that I was going to ask you is, you look at this upcoming schedule. You got Indiana coming up this Saturday. After that, then is Illinois, who is now number 5 in the country. Then you got number 10 Michigan State after that, then a rematch against Ohio State, which is also kind of another bubble team here. Is this these next few games here for Wisconsin, would you say that's kind of like maybe, I don't know if I would say season defining, but maybe kind of really, setting their mark or etching their spot in this upcoming tournament?
Yeah, have some good performances against those teams, the Quad 1 teams. You should be able to have a pretty decent game against Indiana. They're right around where you are in terms of in the conference. The Badgers, a couple more games ahead of the Hoosiers there, but similar in overall record and all that. So definitely win the games you need to. But like you said, after Indiana, Illinois, Michigan State, but then you go back and you have a run of Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, and then who is it again? Another one that's not the greatest, Maryland, I think. Mm-hmm. So you have a run there of 5 games coming up. Oh, and Iowa's in there, who's also kind of around you. So you have 2 games of teams that are right around your level of competition, at least on paper, in the record columns, that should be pretty decent games. You have 2 against three, because Purdue to end the season. You have three against teams that are in the top 10. Oh no, Purdue just fell out. So top 15, and then four. Is it four? Ohio? Yeah, four that you should on paper take care of. So you have 6 games there where you have a lot to be able to boost your resume and be an above 500 conference team and push towards being like they are right now, up there with, conference record, you're tied with Purdue, and I'm not going to say we're better than Purdue or anything like that because, lost to them, and then, they just overall have a better resume than Wisconsin. But in conference-wise, you're both 8-3. They're ranked in the top 15. Wisconsin's not ranked. And I'm not saying Wisconsin should be ranked. Haven't had some of the wins like they have in past seasons to warrant being ranked right now. But keep what you're doing this season so far, and hopefully, against Illinois and Michigan State, who both have proved they can lose games this year, just kind of make games look respectable against them or even win them. And I think you'll be a little nicer of eye candy for the bracketologists and just take care of your business against the schools that you, the perceived should win games, and you should be able to march on into March and maybe have a little run in the Big Ten tournament.
And, speaking of the Big Ten tournament, too, that's the other thing, because I feel like this is going to be such a top-heavy tournament, RJ. Michigan, Illinois battling it out right now with a 10-1 conference record. You got Nebraska and Michigan State 9-2. As you mentioned, Purdue and Wisconsin are 8-3. They're just 2 games back from that top spot. This is setting up for, in the final month of this regular season to kind of be a dogfight, it seems like, for positioning within this conference tournament in a little over a month.
Yeah, and outside of those 3 games we talked about with Illinois, Michigan State, and Purdue, Wisconsin has a schedule to really put themselves in a very good position to be jostling for that top spot. And sure, it might not have some of the marquee matchups on the schedule that some of these others do down the road, but that's how the cookie crumbles. So take care of your business, and you could be pushing for a higher seed in the Big Ten tournament. And it's something that you strive for. Get some rest days in there, and we'll see what happens. But definitely things could be going Wisconsin's way after Indiana and these next 3 games, because that run of the following teams. What order is that actually? Because so after Michigan State, Ohio State, Iowa, Oregon, Washington, and Maryland. Outside of maybe the Iowa game there, those next 3 should all be walking away wins. So really, even though what we've seen with our eyes can be a little more in the forefront for us, I think Wisconsin still has a good chance to be finishing top 5 in the conference by the end of it here.
Looking at that last win for Wisconsin over Ohio State, we saw Austin Rapp get 19 points, and we've seen him at various times this season, put up a performance like he did against Ohio State. He had 18 against Central Michigan. You go 13 against Northwestern, 15, against Southern Illinois earlier on in the season, 20 against Providence. Kind of up and down, inconsistent. I guess my question for you, RJ, we know really what we have with the big 3. That's Boyd, Blackwell, and Nolan Winter. But is Austin, is he that wild card? Is he that guy? If he is consistent with this ball club, it maybe elevates this team up another level?
Yeah, Austin Rapp as well as Bilauskis. I think both of those two, for when you get the occasional outbursts from them, really bring a lot more to this team. So it was good to see Austin Rapp get those 19 points in 20 minutes. So, coming off the bench there, still looking like a piece that was brought in from Portland, and hopefully something clicked there and he can continue to do that, because it's what he was doing at Portland, stepping outside and making those threes. And hopefully it was a game where start seeing the buckets fall and then gains that confidence moving forward. But yeah, both of those guys, I think, are really probably key to the rotation here, because after that, I mean, they went 8 deep in the game, so they've started to find their rotation, and you're not really seeing a lot of minutes from the rest of the bench. And I mean, I guess that game Will Garlock got in, but I don't think he got over 10 minutes in the game, and probably not even close to that. So you're down to a 7-man rotation here, and hopefully we see a little more solid play out of the bench players that are coming, because even with Braden Carrington, he's had his runs as well. So a little more consistent play out of those three, and this team could be very dangerous.
Switching gears to hockey, RJ, because I want to get to men's hockey now. Another series lost. What's going on with this Badger men's hockey team right now?
I wish I could tell you. It's like, yeah, I don't know. And when you see like the beat writers also covering the team, not being able to explain it, and they just say everybody is cold right now. Like there's very little goal scoring from anyone. Yeah, you're by the game, it just looks like you're getting worse and worse. So not sure what's going on. I know there were some injuries, and people are starting to come back from those injuries, and hopefully that puts a spark into people here. But whatever is happening and the tinkering with the lineups just aren't working right now. So hopefully, as you have Notre Dame coming to town this weekend, you can kind of get the ship right, because Notre Dame isn't that good. But even right now, I mean, the way Wisconsin's playing, I'd say they're not that good. But you're still sitting at 15-9 on the year and have a losing streak of 6 in a row. So I mean, you were 15-3 at one point here, and losing these conference games isn't helping at all. But I think they're still in the number 4 spot in the conference standings, and if you get back on track here, you'll be able to at least get a home series to start things in terms of the Big Ten tournament. It's just inexplicable what's going on right now from what we saw at the beginning of the year.
And then on the women's side, too, RJ, splitting against Minnesota. But I almost feel like that's a series that really we should – I mean, it's a split against, I mean, 2 heavy hitters, right? I mean, there's not a ton of like, oh, my God, Wisconsin women's hockey lost a game against Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the number 3 team in the nation.
Right.
So it's not like you lost to an unranked team here. You lost 2-3 in the first game, and then came back and won 6-1 the next night.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they rebounded pretty good. And you're still sitting pretty on the year, still driving towards the NCAA tournament and being a team that is going to be the favorite to win it. You're 24-2-2 overall. It is what it is. You're going into a matchup with Ohio State this coming weekend. It should be, and that'll be a home one. So, and you're also going into games where I think they're missing some active players to the Olympics. So, little run here, and hopefully you can keep the status quo while some players are out.
That's you kind of forget about that too with the Olympics and such too, because that could potentially. I mean, is there any concern about maybe Wisconsin losing some of these games without those players?
I would say, like, even if they do lose some of those games, I think you'll have enough people who watch hockey and know who's missing and be like, well, some of their top players are playing for Canada and the United States. I get it. They're missing like their first and second lines. It happens. But I think Wisconsin's also deep enough that, I mean, we've had women in the past who have said, yeah, I got offers to be on the first line at some schools, and I wanted to come play here. You're still getting you still got 19 of the first place votes out of the 20 for the USCHO hockey poll this week. So I think people still think Wisconsin is the best team in the country, and after the top five, it kind of drops off anyway. So I think people will understand if Wisconsin drops one or two here in the 2-week Olympic stretch.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm going to throw a wild card question to you. You ready for this? I hope it's,
sure.
It's a sport
Hopefully.
It's a sport we don't talk about a whole lot, but I mean they are ranked, and you are a coach. Badger wrestling. All right. Yeah, I mean top 20 in the country right now, I believe. I think it's still undefeated at home this year. So I mean, 11-3 overall for the Badger wrestling program. So should we give a little love to that program?
Yeah, absolutely. 6-0 on home duels, 4-3 at away duels, and 3-3 in the conference. And I mean, your losses are to Iowa, Minnesota, and Ohio State right now. I don't believe they wrestled Penn State this year, so I guess that's pretty good. But those are three of the top four teams in the Big Ten. And I mean, if that ends up being your only losses, I mean, Michigan's up there too. So I mean, it's going to have a couple of battles here. Indiana's coming to the Fieldhouse on Saturday. Then I believe Michigan's the next weekend. And then you travel to Cedar Falls for Northern Iowa to end your dual season and head on into the Big Tens. But yeah, it's a rebound year from what we've seen the past couple of years where they weren't doing so great, and whether it's red shirts or they were just building on for down the road, so their wrestlers are starting to produce, and it's good to see a nice little rebound here, and hopefully good things are coming moving forward for the Wisconsin wrestling team.
Are you still coaching wrestling this year at the high school level?
Yes, I am.
How are you guys doing?
Absolutely. Well, we just finished dual season last week. We ended with the city duels against the other three Madison City schools, where we won all three duels in the night. So Madison Memorial is city champs. Finished fifth in conference for duels, and getting ready to wrestle at conference this Saturday, and hopefully we have some kids do pretty well at the conference tournament.
Awesome. Good stuff. He's RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst this morning. Dude, good stuff as always. Appreciate the time, and we'll catch up with you again next week, okay?
Sounds good. We will talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. All right, we got to take a really quick break, play a little catch-up here, but we'll be right back after these quick words. When you need glass work done right, trust the local experts at Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls. From residential and commercial glass to mirrors, windows, and custom solutions, they deliver quality craftsmanship and dependable service every single step of the way. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a custom project, Post Glass and Mirror has the experience that you can count on. Learn more or request service online at postglassandmirror.com. Post Glass and Mirror, clear solutions and trusted results. It's truck day for the Brewers. Just saw them post it up on their social media a little while ago, but packing up the trucks and getting set to head on over to Arizona. Closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting, closer and closer to our first spring training games, which inadvertently means we are closer to some baseball games. So, yes, so MLB Network has been kind of doing their shredder rankings. It's an analytics approach and ranking the top 10 players at certain positions. And the Brewers getting represented again last night with their latest top 10 rankings, which is probably no surprise, but it was William Contreras coming in at number 2. Last year, he was ranked at number 1. But the number 1 catcher this year is probably no surprise either. Cal Raleigh coming in with the top spots. So Contreras coming in number 2. And now tonight is going to be the right fielders, the top 10 right fielders. I'm biased, I know, because I love watching this guy play baseball. Sal Frelick, come on. Let's get a little Sal in there. Can we get some representation for Mr. Frelick? Salvatore Frelick, the summer of Sal. Is he going to be? I'll be a little surprised if he does make the top 10. I'll admit it. I'll be a little surprised if he does. But come on. We gotta get some representation for Salvatore in that top 10. I always, again, these if you're not familiar with what these shredder rankings are, okay, it's not like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, okay? It's an annual data-driven ranking system that determines the top 10 players at each position for the upcoming season, utilizing advanced metrics, traditional stats, and research. It provides an often debated objective outlook on current player talent. So that's the definition, really, of these shredder rankings. It's a formula that analyzes past performance, including both offensive and defensive advanced metrics. If you remember last year, again, it was the kind of the weird one where Garrett Mitchell was listed as a top 10 center fielder, not listed as a top 10 center fielder this year, but would really like it if Garrett Mitchell could stay healthy and maybe develop into a top 10 center fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. So that would be really nice. But let's get Salvatore on that list for tonight. Huh? How about it? All right, we got to take our final break because we're playing a little bit of catch-up here. So we'll do that, and then coming up just past 9 o'clock this morning, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Speaking of a little baseball, we'll talk some Eau Claire Express. Don't forget, though, you can continue to send me what is grinding your gears, our Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. Also, it is a Hy-Vee game changer. What was the play? What was the a play or a player or a moment that you would determine as a kind of game changer? All right, you can make your picks. I kind of say moment because I know there wasn't like a football game going on or such. So maybe it was a coach hiring that you think could be a game changer. Whatever the case may be, all right, it's your opinion. Send those on over too. And give me your vibe check. Do you think Giannis is going to be traded by Thursday? What's your gut telling you on this Tuesday morning? And yes, I'm probably going to ask it again tomorrow, and I'm probably going to ask it again on Thursday if it hasn't been already announced. So, all right, we'll take our final break for this third hour, but we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Got about 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Coming up just past 9 o'clock. Again, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Got a new GM in place. So hit that up and kind of take a look at, maybe an early look at the upcoming season in that. A little bit of football news. Apparently, the Giants are going to be hiring Matt Nagy as their new offensive coordinator. All right. So Matt Nagy, I think a lot of people thought was going to be the head coach, favorite to be the head coach for the Tennessee Titans, was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Chiefs moving on from him, essentially not re-signing him and bringing back Eric Bieniemy. And now Matt Nagy is going to be the offensive coordinator for Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors with the Giants. So kind of I think that was kind of an interesting hire. We'll see how that plays out. But definitely a big, I mean, for John Harbaugh, this is a big hire because you've got Jackson Dart entering his second year. You got Malik Neighbors, an incredibly talented wide receiver coming back from an ACL injury. So it is going to be that this is the big hire for him to make sure he's got that right for that offensive coordinator spot for those, I mean, building off those guys. So I guess we'll see how it plays out, right? All right, let's catch up on a couple texts, shall we? We got a couple texts here talking about Giannis and the Bucks. Bill, a little bit earlier, said, I do not think Giannis will be traded by the Thursday deadline. I think the Bucks are going to wait until the offseason so they can get more draft picks and maybe other teams involved in the mix. Matt's also with a message saying, I do think Giannis is going to get traded by Thursday. I think one team is going to get super desperate and give the Bucks a package that they absolutely can say that they can't say no to. We've got another texter, no name, can't give you any cred, but they say they don't think the Bucks will trade Giannis by Thursday. And I still have my doubts whether they will trade him in the offseason. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So we've got Josh also saying that I do think the Bucks are going to trade by Thursday. I think the Warriors are going to give them a package that it'll be too hard to pass up on. It will include Jimmy Butler, but they can move on from him and clear out some cap space. And then another texter, don't have a name, but they also said that they believe the Warriors are going to be able to put together a package for the Bucks to make that deal by Thursday's deadline. So continue to give me your vibe. I mean, this is kind of our barometer, if you will. Our barometer, our measuring stick. What's your gut telling you? Does it change? You know, the closer we get to that trade deadline on Thursday, is it getting a little bit closer and closer? You know, just a couple days away now. I'm still feeling no, but again, I could be completely wrong in this thing. That's what my gut's telling me. So maybe part of it too is I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see it end. I don't want to see that tenure end. But Scott Tolzien is not going to be the Steelers' offensive coordinator position. He's going to stay with the Saints as their quarterbacks coach. So Mike McCarthy has been bringing a lot of Packers people. I mean, he hired their former Mark Lovett, their former strength coach who was with Tennessee. He's going back. Obviously, we know some of the other position coaches and such, but he has definitely been bringing a lot of former coaches that have Packers ties. Even his defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, spent a year in Green Bay, too. So I saw that Cignetti is going to be an offense assistant. He was a quarterbacks coach. And was it 18? Yeah, final year. But a lot of Packers ties. It's all about who you know in that business, right? For a lot of those positions. So, all right, final hour coming up. So, again, last call for anything that is grinding your gears. Also, send us what is your Hy-Vee game changer. Continue to send those. Continue to send me. Where's your barometer? Where's your gauge? How you feeling with the Giannis trade? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you still have some doubts? Where are you at on that? All right, we'll hit that up. We'll get back to some more baseball talk here as well. I'm going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment for tomorrow's program involving Brian Gutekunst and his presser, his end-of-the-season presser that's coming up tomorrow. I'm going to give you a homework assignment towards the back end of the hour. Bucks are also back in action tonight, too. So will it be the last time we see Giannis at least sitting on the bench? Or will it be tomorrow? Who knows? We'll discuss. 3 in, 1 more to go. Quick news update, and we'll be back to kick off the final hour, chatting some Eau Claire Express coming up after these quick words. All right, the final hour kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning of February 3rd. Thanks for hanging out with us, depending on how you're listening to us from. Radio dials, got a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available online. You can hit us up at sportstalk1051.com. Various streams up there, plus just tell your Google or Alexa device to say, yo, Alexa, play a WAYY. Hopefully we just turned on a bunch of Alexas by saying that too. So coming up, we'll get back to some more of your texts. I know we got a few sitting in there, including on the YouTube stream as well. We'll get to those coming up here very soon. But we kick off this hour because we want to think spring and we want to think summer with our colder temperatures here. So we're thinking positive here. We got baseball to talk about, and we're joined now by Eau Claire Express owner Craig Toyson and new general manager Jake Haran, right? Did I pronounce it correct? Haran. I knew I was going to screw it up, man. I knew I was going to screw it up. Well, congratulations first, and thanks for stopping by. So what's it been like? Because you're a native, right? You're a native. So.
Yeah, nice being back in the area, and already getting a lot of people reaching out and sending me texts saying that they're going to come to games, and
nice.
People that...
Where have they been the last couple of years? I'd like to know. Yeah.
So to give us a little bit of a background, what were you doing these last couple of years? It sounds like you have a lot of experience in baseball and such, so kind of a little interview here. Give us your resume, sir. So
yeah, so I actually got started in baseball with the Waterloo Bucks.
Okay.
Started out with an internship, led into full-time, spent a couple years as assistant GM there. And then the last 2 years I was with the Cedar Rapids Colonels in the food and beverage department.
Okay.
And last year I was director of food and beverage. So, this would be my 7th season in baseball.
Okay.
But a lot of different roles and a lot of different responsibilities that have been under my belt. So.
What was it, Craig, that impressed you maybe about Jake's resume and such?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I've known Jake for quite a few years here, and when we came aboard the Northwoods League back in 2022, which is hard to believe this is already our 5th season here, Jake introduced himself to me right away at one of the first get-togethers, and I just thought that was really great of a younger person at that time to reach out and make the connection, and known his family for years and years, known his dad, business-wise and socially for years, and his mom actually teaches my wife. So we've had family connections for years and years and years, and seeing the success that he's had, heard how he was talked about in the league, how disappointed Waterloo was when he went to go work for the Cedar Rapids Colonels, which was a promotion because it's a bigger organization in the Twins single A team, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So excited to have a guy with his experience, his knowledge, and also the knowledge of the Chippewa Valley, which is a cool thing.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's a family ownership, and now it just seems like it got a little bit more family centric too.
Yeah, we're excited to have him, and it's been a great first couple weeks of brainstorming and just kind of collaboration and figuring things out. So it's been great.
Well, I mean, I got to ask too. How's the? I know this off season some work was done at Carson Park too, right? With some of the dugouts
we are
and such,
very excited to show off new dugouts this spring, and the cool thing is. The high schools and university are going to get to use them right away this spring. They are basically ready to go, just waiting for some padding to go up once the snow subsides, hopefully in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So UW Eau Claire will get to utilize that. They won't be spilling out of the dugouts anymore, which is pretty awesome. So much bigger, much longer, more space, coverage, safety, better viewing for the players in the dugouts. It will be a little bit of a challenge this year because the first couple rows of the GA seats will be blocked by those bigger dugouts, but the city of Eau Claire is putting plans in place for how that can look next year. So we're kind of in that brainstorming phase right now, and the Parks Department's putting some plans together on how that's going to look and what we're going to get done, and very excited for it. But the dugouts was step one. Really glad to have that done.
Yeah, I know that's in our conversations over the last couple of years, that was definitely one of the things you continuously brought up and such. So
I never realized how bad they were, and they're historic. It is what it is. But until I coached a Legion game there this summer on July 4th, and oh my, it was sun beating down on you. There's no protection from the elements. You can't see anything from the ground. It's tight. There's one little small exit on each end. So this is going to be so much better. And like I said, when the players have a better experience, the game's a better experience for everybody else. So it's going to be a great thing for everybody all said and done.
Yeah. So Jake, I mean, I know you're new on the job and such here, but I mean, with your excitement level, what's got you most excited to be pairing up here with the Express now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to have games.
Yeah.
That's what drives me in this industry. All the planning and everything is great, but what I enjoy about the industry is being in the ballpark when fans are present, when a game's going on. So I'm excited for that. Looking at where the attendance numbers are, that's a lot higher than what I experienced in Waterloo. So it's exciting to see that the average attendance is about 500 people more than what we had in Waterloo.
It's a great baseball town. We want to continue to build on that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I know it's still kind of early in that, just maybe kind of, reveal any big surprises or outings or anything like that. But, we can follow a little bit on Facebook page, outings or group outings kind of starting to fill up too. So, got that. Are tickets on sale right now for the upcoming season? Getting close to
Yeah,
that?
we actually just late last week opened single game tickets. So people can go right now and start buying tickets. So if you got a game that you're really excited about, or once we start, we started talking theme nights a little bit. Once we start promoting those, get on them quick so that you got the spots you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think last year the big idea was the video board, and it was great to get that launched. And we saw throughout the season, as our crew got better and better at operating that, how much of an impact that makes and what the game experience is like for fans. And we're going to continue to build on that this year. We're excited for the plans that we have and the ways we're going to implement that. We've acquired all the stuff that we can do live video footage on the video board this year, so we'll do that stuff. So I've joked with groups I've talked to, prepare for 9 innings of kiss cam. It's just going to be nonstop kiss cam. Make it as uncomfortable as possible. So we'll have options for live, on the field games where you can see stuff better. Because that's always been a thing that people have said, like, I can't see from the fan deck what's going on out there. If you had a game out toward the fan deck, the grandstand was cut out. So we're going to make that a lot better. The Whipfly Zone has been an awesome addition to the ballpark. We finished getting that entirely paved last year, so now the whole thing is paved. We're going to continue to have more seating out there, and we're looking to add some more, another group area out there that's still kind of early stages, and we can still get it done this season. We're cautiously optimistic, but we're still working on that as well. So looking to continually make improvements every single year that we're there to make it a better fan experience.
Absolutely. I know the schedule came out a little bit ago, but this is my first chance to kind of talk to you guys about some of the teams that you're going to be going up against. Madison's on the schedule again. Wausau is on the schedule.
Love playing Wausau. For one thing, I love going to Wausau because it's a really cool ballpark. It's a very tight, intimate feel. Mark McDonald, the owner there, is a good friend of mine, and I love what he's done with that ballpark. And it's an hour and 20 minutes away, which is pretty rare for the Northwoods League. So love to get out there whenever we can, anytime we can. Madison obviously is the beast. It's just fun to go down there and see all that entails, see that stadium, and then very excited. We're not going there, but we're hosting Fond du Lac to start the year. So going to take it to them in the first couple games of the year.
Right. I mean, you got a little Brewers connection, right, with Fond du Lac, the Dock Spiders over there too. So that'll be fun. Did I see like the Mud Puppies, Minnesota Mud Puppies are on there too? So
never going away, it seems.
Yeah,
They're
right.
back again.
There's always an odd number of teams. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
new team on the eastern side this year, the Richmond Flying
Mummies.
Mummies.
That's
right. Flying Mummies.
Yeah, Flying Mummies.
And Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite is one of the owners there. So I'm hoping.
Really, I did not know that.
He is. Yeah. So John Grease, I'm hoping that he comes to the All-Star game this year, which is going to be at Field of Dreams, which I cannot wait to get down to.
Too.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome.
So I mean, was that kind of something you knew was coming down the wire, or was this kind of a nice surprise? Or I mean, this is kind of rare, right? It usually goes to different stadiums.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that surprised me about it was the major league teams haven't played on it in a couple of years. They were doing some stuff to it, and we are actually going to be on that field before the major league teams play their game this summer. So the grass won't be quite as high as you see in that game, but it's going to be an awesome experience. I was there with my son a couple of years ago for his travel team, all-star team, to play there for a tournament, and the timing works well. I'll be there with my other son like right after this, so I think we're just going to stay down there for an extended time. But it's an amazing venue in the absolute middle of nowhere. It's like if Tilden had this amazing ballpark.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is around there. But it's an awesome venue. It's a place where you feel more like a father than you're ever going to feel like a father. And it's a place where baseball feels as pure as it's going to feel pure. And I just love those times when we, as all the organizations, get together and get to hang out and talk about what's working, what's not working, the collaboration, the idea sharing and stealing. It's always a great event. So I can't wait to have it at like the major baseball idea.
Yeah. Have you been there before, Jake?
No, so I was actually like an hour and a half away from that for the last 6 years, and never ended up going there. I mean, I think part of it is in the middle of the summer, you're so busy with work that the last thing you want to do is go into a different ballpark on your off day.
Right.
But the All-Star game, that's the one time that you get that opportunity to really relax, and you don't really think too much about your next game.
Right.
You do on the drive back home, but not really while you're there. So it'll be nice to go down there and actually see it, and even though I was a lot closer.
Right.
the last few years.
It's good that it didn't come up in the interview. That would have been a problem.
Jake, I know not to maybe reveal anything, or I know it's kind of early, but with your vast experience and such, is there kind of something that you're excited maybe to bring to the Express from your experiences, whether it was with Waterloo or Cedar Rapids or anything like that? Is that something you kind of thought of at this point, or what are some of your goals being the new GM?
I guess we've just been, right now it's been a lot of absorbing and trying to figure out where things are and what has been done, what maybe was done that didn't work before I start to really deep dive into the things that I've done before and try to bring them here.
Right.
But I think that I've got some ideas in place, nothing that's set in stone yet, but some ideas in place that I think will make the overall experience better for the fans, as well as just increase some of the operational end that we're doing. The fans might not even see some of that stuff,
right,
but it might make it easier for us or help us save money here or there or things like that. That'll help us be able to do some bigger and better things down the road.
Right.
The last thing I want to hear is, or tell somebody is, well, we've always done it that way. It's a clean slate, and I want to go in every season with that we can take the good and the bad and the ugly from last year and add, subtract, cut, whatever we got to do to make it a better product. And I think I'm excited to have Jake's perspective on it because he's been a part of some really good organizations. He's got a degree in sports management, which is a cool thing. Yep. And I'm excited for it. Yeah.
You said this is your 5th year already?
It's our 5th year coming in, yeah. So
how is that possible, man?
I don't know. My hair that's getting grayer and grayer agrees, and I look back at photos from the first year and my boys have gotten a lot bigger too. But time flies when you're having fun, and the off season's always a lot of work. But man, when Memorial Day comes around and that first pitch is thrown and the ballpark fills up and you can smell the popcorn and hear people grabbing beers out in the beer garden and see the fan deck fill up, it's there's no place I'd rather be.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, have you set some high marks last year, too, with some new stuff, the new logo, the new video board. We've got dugouts coming, this year, too. So, anything else you kind of want to tease? Anything else that you're thinking about?
We have some stuff we're working on. There's been a teased musical event at Carson Park. I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to take anyone else's thunder, but we're working with another organization that might be doing some music stuff at Carson Park and excited about what that partnership looks like. And as a result, you might see an expanded drink menu available at some point at Carson Park too. But we got some I's to dot and T's to cross it before that's all said and done.
It kind of goes to what you just said, right? Always looking to improve, always looking to expand and make things more enjoyable and better too, right? Yeah. So I'm excited, man. So what are you most proud of in your 5 years so far of?
That's a good question. I am really proud of that. The video board, because that in combination that was also a scoreboard that went in as well, and not only do we get to enjoy that, but all the other users of the ballpark get to use that as well. I think we've done a nice job of raising the bar and the profile for what people can expect at Eau Claire Express games. But we also, I'm a baseball historian. I love the history of the game, and I take the game itself very seriously. So as much as I enjoy like the Savannah Bananas of the world, I want to put a lot of respect into the baseball that we play. So what can we do to make the game day experience better for fans, but also respect the games that took place before us, that the Bob Ukers and the Henry Aarons and all those guys played in and built Carson Park from the ground up. So I'm proud of what we've done, but also proud of protecting the heritage that's there.
Is that kind of a fine balance? Because, you mentioned the Savannah Bananas, with our, I'm coaching Little League, and, I'll ask my 8-year-olds, like, what's your favorite team? And they'll say Savannah Bananas. They may never have watched it, but they know the name of that too. Is that kind of that fine line that you have to, okay, that's the excitement that draws, but we also want to play baseball too.
Yeah, and there's Harlem Globetrotters, and that's great for kids that want to watch that stuff.
Yep.
Adults don't really want to watch it, and I think some of the Savannah Bananas draw is that it's a new thing. Kids are always going to be entertained by hijinks and antics. So that's so it's always going to have a place, but it's having a high mark right now. It'll settle back into place. And, I don't think we can imagine the Savannah Bananas coming to Eau Claire right now, but the Harlem Globetrotters are just here. And you never know how that stuff ebbs and flows, but I think it's been a good thing that it's opened our eyes to we need to work on what do we do to entertain fans that are really easily distracted these days. There's a lot of pulls on your attention every direction, and what do we need to do to continue to improve that stimulus that they're paying attention to the ball game. So we've taken away some ideas from it, definitely, but and I think you've definitely seen that with some of the crazier names. Flying mummies is definitely one of those cases. But we want to respect Andy Pafko and all the guys that played for our organizations, the Cole Calhouns and the Jordan Zimmermans and Dalton Varshows, and take seriously the game.
Yeah, I mean, how cool was it to see an Express player like Dalton at the World Series, at the World Series stage? And now we were talking about MLB Shredder rankings, and they ranked him the 5th best center fielder in all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And then even like Alex Call, those Express members and Northwoods League members. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. Obviously, here in the Chippewa Valley, we've known what a special player Dalton Varsho is for years and years and years. And we've seen, if you pay attention to advanced analytics, the baseball nerds love what Dalton does, that he's got as good a jump time on baseballs as anybody out there. We've seen some of the acrobatic plays. We played one before one of our games last year to show, what he's capable of. And I can't imagine how proud the Varsho family is to see, how he plays, how he's handled himself, the success he's had, and how grounded he continues to remain. He was just over at Marshfield Columbus school, the system there, signing autographs for kids all day, and spent a day there. And that says a lot about him as a character, that he does that stuff so close to when he's got to head back out for spring training. 9 days, by the way, pitchers.
There we go. Yep. Brewers are loading the trucks up right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So, in the way he handled himself in that World Series, hitting a home run, put a ball in play in Game 7 with the game on the line that a lot of guys would have willed in that situation, and he didn't. It didn't work out the way they wanted it to, but I think anybody from Marshfield and anybody from the Chippewa Valley that watched him play can be really proud of who he is as a ball player and who he is as a person.
Jake, you coming in here too, obviously being from the area, with Dale and such, how excited are you to be working with somebody who's been there from the beginning and such too? Does it make it a little bit more comforting knowing you've got somebody like that to work with?
Yeah. I mean, that I would say that Dale was probably part of the reason why I wanted to take the job, knowing that the manager situation is covered.
Yeah.
That's not something I'm gonna have to worry about. He's here. He's been there, and the fact that he's been here for the entire time, I know I can ask him, well, what'd you do in 2005?
Right.
What'd you do in 2010? I'm not just looking at, Craig's only been here for the last 5 years, so he only knows the last 5 years. Whereas Dale is that sounding board for the rest of the time that the Express has existed. So that can help a lot, good or bad. He might have some stuff that he wants that has been going on for a while, but also he knows what didn't work.
Right.
And that will help me in the long run, I think.
Right. Are you ready? Because you may have gone through the interview with Craig and that, but are you ready to do the lightning round for all of our newbies that we have in the studio here? All right, this is the tough one. Are you ready for a few of these questions right now? Favorite food?
Favorite food? I don't think I really have a favorite food.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I cheeseburger. I mean, I eat it all. I eat that most often. So yeah,
I can't argue with that. That's one of my go-tos. Favorite baseball team?
Brewers.
And you work for the Twins Single A? Wow. There's I respect it. Favorite player of all time?
Favorite player? I would say Yelich helped me become a Brewers fan. So Yelich.
Nice. Favorite baseball memory?
Favorite baseball memory? Ooh.
Brewers fan, there's not many. Tough, yeah. Especially your age, there's not a whole lot. So.
Gosh, I just say anytime walking into the ballpark.
Nice. I like it.
That's a fair answer.
Yep. Yeah. Favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball movie? Toss up between Major League or Moneyball.
Ooh, nice. Good choices. Favorite type of music?
Favorite type of music? Just kind of the latest hits type.
If you were going up to bat, though, what would be your walk-up song?
Oof. They'd forget to play it because I wouldn't be going up to bat.
I love that. What was the last thing you binge watched, if you had any time to binge? I know it's probably been really crazy for you.
Last thing I binge watched.
Man, am I glad I'm not answering these questions. Some of them are really embarrassing.
I guess I just finished up Landman.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have not gotten into that, but I've seen clips with
good.
Billy Bob and such. So, all right, biggest influence in your life, last one.
Biggest influence. Oh boy. I would say my whole sports career kind of started in high school, so my high school basketball coach, I was working for him, but Archie Sherb.
Yeah, so you can name drop him. He might be listening.
Yeah.
He's in the area.
I mean, that's where it all started. So if he hadn't given me that chance as a freshman, I probably wouldn't be working in sports. So
good old Archie. Yep.
He came to McDonald my senior year, so that's how old Archie is. So
you just kind of called him out there.
There you go. Yeah. He needs that once in a while. Yeah.
All right, before I let you go, then too, Craig. So 5 years in, next 5 years, got any 5-year goals? What are you hoping for the next 5 years?
Very excited to get the stadium stuff done. I think when we look at what the stadium is, we can honor both the tradition of Carson Park and also bring it to a new era. I think when we look at what 1930s baseball was, the accessibility wasn't something that was considered very much, and restrooms wasn't considered very much. So I think as we get those things done, we can be very excited about what Carson Park continues to be and the usage that's allowed to happen there. I'm excited to keep building our relationship with the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire. It's a great program. I'm excited to see what they continue to do, and I think there's so many opportunities to make baseball bigger and better in the Chippewa Valley, and that's just a lot of times getting kids exposed. So I'm excited just to keep being on the field, keeping a positive disposition and attitude about it, and hope people will come and out to the ballpark this summer.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a few texts saying welcome to Jake here, so a few people are texting in for that. So definitely welcome. Congratulations. I'm excited. I'm always excited when we get to baseball season and ball games.
We got to neutralize that groundhog that's telling us a little more winter. So
you know. There's depending on which groundhog. I believe the ones that are saying in early spring. So I'm just going to keep it that way. So, but really quick, tickets are available right now if they're in the baseball mode. What's best way, going online to the Express websites?
Yeah, online. I mean, that's the way to do it at any time.
Make sure you are at our website though. That we've had people get burned by that every year.
Yeah, if you go to a resale site, it could be 10 times more expensive. So go to our website, eauclaireexpress.com. Otherwise, you could call in the office as well, but the easiest is probably going to be online.
All right, so get those tickets right now, and then I can speak from experience too. If you're thinking about kiddos who have summer birthdays, the birthday party packages from the Express they're a hit for the kiddos too. So make sure you get those dates secured for that too. So, guys, thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get to our weekly chats coming up here soon. So great to meet you. Congratulations again, sir. And, well, are you going to any spring training games this year? I know sometimes
my wife made me promise no spring training this year. So I tried to talk her to go to Miami, and I'm like, well, the World Baseball Classic Championship happens to be there. But she caught on pretty quick. So I stuck somewhere without baseball this year.
So, all right. Well, we'll get it here soon enough.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these quick words. Big thanks again to Jake and Craig from the Eau Claire Express for hanging out with us a little bit this morning and getting to know Jake, our new general manager for the Express. If you missed any portion of that conversation, it will be up in a new episode of the All Aboard the Eau Claire Express podcast later on this morning. So check it out, follow, subscribe to that podcast. Got a couple texts I want to catch up on, talking about Giannis, Greek Freak, vibe check if you feel like he's going to get traded by Thursday. I got a texter here says, nope, he'll be traded in the offseason. Simply put, I get straight to the point, man. We've got Rick with another text saying, I do think he'll be traded by Thursday because I feel like there's going to be a team that is going to offer a boatload of picks and players that the Bucks would be idiots to say no to. All right. Seems like the majority, though, are going with the side of your vibe, the vibe check right now, at least. You're thinking it's going to be in the offseason when Giannis trade. We're going to, if it doesn't happen today and we're on the air tomorrow and it still hasn't happened, we're still going to continue to ask a little bit of a barometer vibe check. So be prepared for that. All right. But Bucks are back at it tonight. Game-wise, Bucks will be back at it tonight, taking on the Chicago Bulls. Tip time is going to be around 7. Coverage will begin at 6:30 on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Can the Bucks end their little bit of a losing schneid that they're currently on? Magic 8 Ball says all signs point to no. At least that's my Magic 8 Ball. I am just genuinely curious how the fans are going to react at tonight's game. Like Giannis on the side, on the courts, on the bench, are they going to be doing any, chants to Giannis? We've seen that before. I've been to, Packers games where they're chanting 4 more years for Brett or 1 more year for Brett. Will that be something for Giannis? Will they say, hey, Giannis, please stay, or don't trade Giannis? I don't know. I'm curious to see if there's a little bit of a fan reaction tonight. Giannis isn't playing, but I'm assuming he's going to be on the bench. Will there be something like that from the fans tonight? I wouldn't put it past them. Honestly, I might be a little bit shocked if they don't. If they don't do anything. But something to kind of follow. They got a three-game home stretch here, so even if it's not tonight, maybe tomorrow, because it is a back-to-back game. So, what else do we got here? So, a couple texts earlier I want to get. First, before that, Giannis thing. Zach, our good buddy Zach on the YouTube stream, saying, I really don't want to see Giannis go, but if the Bucks are moving away from him, I would imagine that they would do it in the offseason when they can get more draft capital. We were talking some green and gold a little bit earlier, and because Goody's going to have his press conference, his season-ending press conference tomorrow. So your homework assignment for tomorrow, kids, class, is this. It's essentially, if you could ask one question to Goody tomorrow, what would it be? Okay? I'll throw out some examples just to kind of help you out. Like, I want some deep, deep thinking questions here. Maybe it's something, why, or do you regret going into the season with Keyshawn Nixon as your number one corner? Or maybe the other way to kind of rephrase that is, what was your mindset, or why did you believe that, Keyshawn could be a number one? Do you regret it? Something like that. Do you kind of regret some of your free agent signings of Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks? Something along those lines. You get one question. Make it good. You get one question to ask Goody tomorrow. Make it good. So that's your homework assignment for tomorrow. Okay? But a little bit earlier, we were talking about the offseason for Brian Gutekunst and his Packers, and just how critical and important of an offseason it's going to be, knowing the window that they're currently in. And I think one question that this would be one that I'd ask him in a presser. This would be a question that I would love to ask him, like if we're at a bar having a beer, be like, dude, off the record, how motivated are you? Or how annoyed are you? Or how jealous are you to see Schneider back in another Super Bowl and now Elliott Wolf in a Super Bowl and you haven't been to one yet? Like, I would hope that motivates the crap out of him this offseason. Now, I get it. There's only so much a general manager can do. There's a lot they can do, but there's only so much they can do. They can bring in players. They can, make these great signings, trades, draft well, et cetera, but we won't know how those moves actually work until they get on the field. Then it's up to the player and the coaches and such. But, man, I would got to imagine that would motivate the heck out of him to see those guys out there having some success, especially, Packers fans like to compare a lot of different things, right? They're going to compare how Jimmy Leonard and Jonathan Gannon do. They've compared Kevin King and TJ Watt. Haven't heard about it too much, but Brian Gutekunst was picked as general manager over Elliott Wolf, and now Elliott Wolf's got one Super Bowl appearance. Don't know if he's got a win yet, but that's out there. All right, got to take a quick break because we got to play a little catch-up here. Got about when we come back? We'll have to do one more break here too. We got picks coming up at the back end and such, so we'll kind of refresh everything. Final call for what's grinding your gears, your Hy-Vee game changers, all that fun stuff. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Somebody asked, could be watching any of the Pro Bowl games? The answer, quick, no. No. Maybe Hudson. We'll tune in a little bit to it, but the flag football portion of it starts tonight, I think. Yeah. The AFC Pro Bowl team, NFC Pro Bowl team. He might. But honestly, I think he'd probably rather watch the Giannis-less Bucks game tonight over that. But it's one of the biggest. I don't know. I wonder, do you think there's going to be a time? Like, we have seen the downfall of the NBA All-Star game, obviously with the Pro Bowl game. Do you feel like, and I might make this, if I remember later on this afternoon, evening to put it up, do you feel like it's just a matter of time where the Major League Baseball All-Star game is just going to go down in the tank too? You know, depending on the rotation, their turn, whenever they last pitch before the break, they may not be able to go. But for the most part, the guys that are elected or voted on or picked to go on there are playing. And it's still a competitive game and such. Do you feel like, is there any nervousness on your level? Like, oh man, I really hope that the Major League Baseball All-Star game doesn't go down the same path as like the Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star game. At least the NHL kind of bounced back and such, but they really had to change stuff too. I hope not. Now, you could say, well, the home run derby has kind of really taken a hit, and yeah, it definitely has. I mean, I would say it's still entertaining to an extent, but they've changed it quite a bit. But from the game itself, that would, I think, have to require, like, I don't know how, from a competitive standpoint, it would. I just don't think you're going to all of a sudden see like a 20-18 made all-star game score. I mean, pitchers are still going to go out there and, you know, throw their stuff. They may not be throwing a lot of breaking balls or anything like that. It might just be a lot of stuff, you know, fastballs, get through an inning and call it good sort of thing. The only thing that I think could really take a hit is if all of a sudden a lot of the position players and the star players just say thanks but no thanks and not play and elect to take that time off. And then you're kind of like where the Pro Bowl games are now, where you have the Shedeur Sanders of the world, Joe Flacco of the world playing and being elected to the Pro Bowl. If Major League Baseball all of a sudden has that when it comes to their All-Star, then we're in some serious trouble. We're in some big-time trouble. And I know, you know, we've had other gimmicky stuff. Winner of that, they hold the World Series. They host the World Series, whether it was the National League team or the American League team. But I enjoy watching the baseball All-Star game. Of all of these All-Star, Pro Bowl, whatever we want to call it, baseball to me is still tops. I really enjoy watching that. Because it's still a really good game, and you still have pretty much the top players that were voted or elected on there. Like, I want to see the Paul Skeens versus the Aaron Judges, or the Paul Skeen. We're not going to see Paul Skeens versus Ohtani, you know, but Ohtani versus the Aaron Judge, you know, that sort of thing. We get it for one inning, but we at least get it for one inning, right? It was last year. Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge. I want to see that at bat. And then I want to see the Brewers players be able to participate. It might only be a half an inning, a full inning, but I don't really care anymore about Keyshawn Nixon in the Pro Bowl games or you know, obviously Micah was elected, but he ain't doing anything. You know, as a kid, yeah, I wanted to see Brett Favre wearing that blue Honolulu jersey and the Green Bay Packer helmet playing in a Pro Bowl. Now I don't care. I still care as a nearly 40-year-old person. I want to see a Brewer player in the All-Star game. I want to see that. I still enjoy watching it, and I really hope it doesn't go down a path where it's becoming irrelevant like a lot of these are. All right, final break. We got picks. We'll pick tonight's Bucks game and some others. as we start to wrap up things here this morning. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, time to wrap up things on this Tuesday morning. Let's do some picks. We'll start off in the NHL world. We got Columbus taking on New Jersey. Give me the Devils. I'll go with New Jersey. The Caps, Washington taking on Philadelphia. I will go with, I'm going to go Washington. Ottawa at Carolina. Give me Carolina. Buffalo at Tampa Bay. Give me the Lightning. Pittsburgh at the Islanders. I will go with the Islanders. Toronto, Edmonton. Oh, Kraken at the Ducks. I got to go Kraken. I got to go with the Kraken. Get to Kraken. Let's go Denver. Okay, NBA games. Denver at Detroit. Should be a decent game. I'll go Detroit for this one. Utah at Indiana. Man, I'll go Pacers. Not too often picking the Pacers this year, but let's go with the Knicks and the Wizards. Knicks. Lakers, Brooklyn, Lakers. Atlanta, Miami. I'll go Miami. Boston and Dallas. Give me Boston. Orlando at Oklahoma City. I will go with the Thunder. We got the 76ers taking on Golden State. Give me the Warriors, and then the Suns taking on the Trailblazers. I'll go with the Suns. And then we've got Chicago taking on Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Bulls. I hate it, but until the Bucks can just show me that they can actually win a game right now at this point, I'm going to pick against them. So, yeah. All right, those are my picks. I was looking at some college basketball games on the diet. I mean, we've got some teams in action tonight, and we got some ranked teams in here, but Miami of Ohio, 23rd ranked Miami of Ohio, by the way, taking on Buffalo. Xavier's taking on UConn. Boston College is taking on Duke. Ole Miss taking on Tennessee. I'm just kind of looking at ranked contests here. How about St. Louis? Number 19, St. Louis, taking on Davidson. And then Pittsburgh's at Virginia. So I'll go all ranked teams on that one. Indiana at USC, I'll go with the Hoosiers for that. This is your latest rankings, by the way, when it comes to college basketball. Since a little bit of movement. Arizona is just continuing their dominance. They received every single vote. Number 1, Michigan back in the 2 spot. UConn down to 3. Duke 4. Illinois moved up 4 spots. They are now the 5th ranked team in the country. Gonzaga, Iowa State, Houston, Nebraska dropping 4 spots, 9. Michigan State dropping 3 spots to 10. So you still have 3 teams from the Big Ten in the top 10. Kansas is at 11. Purdue State at 12. Texas Tech, North Carolina, Vanderbilt, BYU, Florida, Virginia, St. Louis, Clemson, Arkansas, St. John's, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, and Tennessee. Iowa received 39 votes. That would have been the 3rd most. Looking at some other big. Wisconsin did receive a vote as well. So they got 1 vote in there. All right. So those are the latest rankings. Tomorrow, halfway through the week, making the turn. Your homework assignment. You can ask Goody 1 question about what from this 2025 Packers season. Okay, from this Packers 2025 season. And looking ahead to 2026. You can ask Goody 1 question at his presser tomorrow. What is it? What is it? All right. So think about that for a little bit and hit me up with those texts either starting now or wait when we get to the topic tomorrow morning. Bucks are at it tonight. Will there be any news about Giannis by the time we're back on tomorrow morning? If there is, we'll definitely hit it up. We'll definitely chat about it and such. So, also coming up tomorrow, since tomorrow is Wednesday, we're going to do a little Am I Wrong? So think about your Am I Wrong statements. We'll also do a little Whiteboard Wednesday. So, Am I Wrong? Brought to you by our good friends from Mike's Star Market. Think about your sports opinions, sports takes, and send those on over. Best ones I'll read on the air, okay? Am I wrong for thinking that Giannis will always play for the Milwaukee Bucks? I'm just throwing out stuff. So, all right. We'll hit that up coming at you tomorrow. I got to think about for a little Whiteboard Wednesday topic, too. I'll have to ponder that one a little bit. Start to think about your Super Bowl picks a little bit later on in the week. I'll give you a little bit of a tease later on in the week. When we get to Super Bowl, obviously we'll do picks on Friday for Super Bowl and such, but start to think about some of your favorite Super Bowl memories, okay? Start to think about your favorite Super Bowl memories, and if you're one that hosts parties and such, I need some tips. Give me some, like, what do you do? What's on the menu? That sort of stuff. We'll hit that later on in the week in that, but I'm going to steal some ideas from all of you. All right? But tomorrow, Whiteboard Wednesday, Am I Wrong Wednesday, and your homework assignment, you have one question to Goody from this previous season and looking ahead to 2026. What is it? Have a good rest of your day. Same place, same time, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Big thanks to everybody who participated in the program. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right, let's do it again tomorrow. See you then.